What's up, Stellar Sports Cards? Man, the chat is super active tonight. Looks like the chat's happy to be back on Friday night.
I think it just gives more people, the later show gives people time to get a little bit more alcohol in their system.
I guess it must be
They're a little livelier. There's more people already than early on the last show.
Well, we've established this is the time now, so it's
Yeah,
established. We've got a guest coming on in a minute. Yeah.
All right.
Come on, man. You're late. That's okay.
You made me go upstairs to cook you food.
Thank you. All right, let me send an invitation. Well, let me do a little introduction to the show, and then let me send an invitation to our guest. So welcome to the crossover, everybody. Today is Friday, October 15th, and we have a guest for the first 25 minutes or so of the show. Let me fire off an invitation to him. And then, Josh, I'd say we have a very action-packed show following our segment with our guests.
Yo.
What's up,
Carvin?
Carvin? How are you, bro?
I'm good. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Okay, so not to suggest that people in the chat don't know who Carvin is, because I'm sure they do, but I'll give a small introduction. And I also want to remind people, especially when we have guests on the show, sometimes it's difficult to see the guests because of the chat, although you want to see the chat too. But if you want to turn off the chat temporarily, just tap the screen one time. Just tap my head. Just tap right there in my head. It will turn off the chat, and you can see the people on the bottom better. Okay, so Carvin, known as the architect of Exquisite, known as the subject of an Allen and Ginter card that I have in my PC, known as one of the hobby's foremost ambassadors on social media and on Clubhouse, and just an all-around great guy. Has been in this industry for a long time, has seen it from many different angles. And when I reached out, when I posted a poll about a week ago and I said, who would you guys like to see on the crossover, Carvin's name was at the very top of the list with a ton of people asking for it. So Ken kind of scooped us and had Carvin last night, but we'll bat cleanup and have Carvin tonight. So I just wanted to say welcome to the show, Carvin, and thanks for coming on, buddy.
Oh, thanks for having me on. It's a pleasure. And guess what? Ken asked all the tough questions or easy questions, and you guys can ask all the opposite. So you have an opportunity here, a huge opportunity. You can ask all the hobby type, did you want to know stuff from Carvin? So that's fine. We can do that. But let's kick it off. Since we talked about Chris Paul last week, and Josh, I wanted to tell you a story about Chris Paul. I don't know if you know about this story. He said that he's an all-around nice guy. And I can say that from the rookie photo shoot, he was one of the guys that, we sat down with and we said, Chris, what do you have to say about, signing exclusive? For his first year, he signed an exclusive autograph deal with Upper Deck. And he said that his agent called him and he said, it was Upper Deck. Hell yeah. He goes, exclusive deal? Definitely. I want to be exclusive deal, spokesman deal, like be on boxes and all that. And he said, sign me up, right? And I saw his signature. So I think I asked Chris earlier to see that you have some of your Chris Paul cards with you. Do you have them with you right now?
I do.
I believe the ultimate card. If you have that ultimate jersey or patch card.
Yep. That one's a nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
For some reason, my card is fading out. Okay, that's not the same autograph. Do you have the autograph that has Chris E. Paul?
I don't have that one. That's the SP Authentic. I don't have that yet.
Okay, so the Chris E. Paul was the first autograph that he signed. And what happened was that I was like, Chris, that's a full name signature. That's a formal signature. And he said to me, he goes, I go, you got really nice, legible autographs. Don't change it, right? He said, well, I actually am thinking of changing it. And the one in the ultimate that you had just now. So he signed the one on the ultimate for me to look at. And he goes, this is my new signature I'm thinking of changing it to. And I said, he goes, well, what do you think? Do you think this is okay for the collectors? And I said, absolutely. That's a beautiful signature. But I also like that Chris E. Paul one because it looks so formal, right? And he said, well, which one do you rather have? I go with what makes sense for you. But if we have a request for you to sign Chris E. Paul, will you do so on future cards? He said, just send it in the notes and I'll sign to Chris E. Paul. And every time I met him, I met his parents. Like, just the parents are class act. He's been a class act no matter how he approaches everything. It's funny because he's like signing autographs. Man, every time I sign one autograph, I just go cha-ching, cha-ching. I go, this is awesome, man. When you have a guy that thinks that way, then perfect. You know, that's what we want. So I don't know why my thing is fading the whole time. My screen here, but okay, go ahead. Sorry, I'll be touching a lot, so I'll be touching Chris.
No,
light up my screen.
Everything's good on our end. Don't worry about the audio and video.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome to hear the story about Chris Paul. I mean, to be honest with you, man, the reason I started the Chris Paul PC is I really wanted to be able to pick up more exquisite cards because I just couldn't afford any more LeBrons. Like, it's like, even if I wanted some of the quote unquote lower tier exquisites, it's like 20, 30, 40 grand. Whereas Chris Paul, I can kind of pick and choose what I want. And at this point, I've got enough exquisite that, you know, it's my favorite stuff. The reason I'm doing the Chris Paul is I want more exquisite.
Josh, could you repeat the last sentence, please?
Yeah, I was just recapping that the reason I started the Chris Paul PC was to more enjoy the exquisite stuff that Carvin's built over the years. So I'm excited to start it.
Yeah, and then on a side story to that, I went to a open house event, or actually, I think it was an open house event in Canada, and I was attending that during, I believe it was either a golf tournament or something of that nature. And I don't golf, so I was sitting there with a person that used to own Inkworks, Alan Kaplan. So he did the Buffy set and all that, and he had a person working with him, and she was really tall, and I didn't know who she was. And she said, "Hey, I heard you guys signed Chris Paul to an exclusive deal." I go, "Yeah." "How much did you pay him?" I'm like, "Well, I don't really get into contracts and what people get paid, right?" And she goes, "But did you pay him a lot?" I go, "Well, it's a substantial deal to get an exclusive deal." He goes, "Well, my brother says he's a dirty player." I'm like, "Your brother?" She's like, "Yeah, my brother plays for Duke." And I'm like, "Oh, thank God I didn't tell him this my sig right then," right? So, but lo and behold, the player that last played for the Pelicans, or not the Pelicans, was it the Sixers, Pelicans, and he went to another team?
The Mavs.
It was, yeah, the Mavs. Yep. So that was his sister, and he basically had made reference that he's a very dirty player, and we all know that he had that incident in college with Julius Hodges. So I said, well, I guess so. You know, to win, I guess some people will play that way, and I think a lot of people that don't like Chris Paul is the same thing. They said that he does what is necessary to win, so he plays a little bit dirty. But so does a lot of players. We've seen it all the time, so I don't hold that against him. I still think he's a class act, and I still can't believe Darren Williams got picked ahead of him. So, and also, by the way, in that whole class, he was the best ping pong player. For some reason, basketball players love playing ping pong. I mean, they got the reach for it. You know, Marvin Williams was the number 2 pick overall, and he covered everything, so it didn't matter. He had a huge reach, but Chris Paul kicked his ass though. So
nice.
Yeah,
and love that. It's a great way to start a PC to hear some stories about your players. So that's awesome.
Yeah, it is. So look, I'm not an exquisite collector, and I have some questions that don't touch on exquisite.
That's fine.
I might be getting my first exquisite card though, Josh. Isn't that true? So fingers crossed that I'll be having one coming in soon. But no, not a Luka. No, this is true exquisite from when you were with Upper Deck.
Okay, all right. Well, congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. But so Josh, let me just leave it to you for a second. If there's any questions about exquisite that might be on the top of mind that we want to get to Carvin while we've got him here.
I mean, no, like I at this point, I just I'll make it easy for Carvin. I just love the stories. He doesn't really need my questions. He just kind of goes. Like I just give him a topic. Really anything, like any of these stories are great. I like the stories about the athletes. So like if you have any other stories similar to the Chris Paul exclusive, like meeting the athletes and kind of hearing, I just love the connection of the athlete to the specific cards and hearing their opinions on it. So like if you have anything else in related to that, that'd be awesome.
So one of my best stories, and I think I shared it before in Clubhouse, is with Kobe Bryant. And with Kobe, I mean, you know, I walked into a meeting with him. I met LeBron. I met so many different athletes, and a lot of times it's just a meet and greet and just say hi, you know. And usually I don't even take a photo with them. I never had a photo with Kobe either. So, but the fact that I walked in, he was busy eating, I guess, a cookie or whatever. We never got invited to the lunch, right? We came in to do a presentation, and I won't bore you with the presentation. We'll share that another time. But one of the things that I asked him, I said, or asked one of his friends, Jerry, was running the company. The company was called, let me just try to remember now, something. I'm drawing a blank now. Something with an African country. It's a unique name, right? And I said, what is this name? It's, you know, something, I can't remember the name. I'm drawing a blank. I remember it before when I was in Clubhouse. Anyways, Jerry goes, well, why don't you ask Kobe this? And I said, okay, I don't really want to bother Kobe, but he goes, so I went up to him and I said, hey, Cobes, you know, I had this question. What does this name of the company mean? And he goes, oh, it's Latin. I go, oh, okay, well, it's Latin for what? He goes, bull shark. And this is before everyone knew his nickname of Black Mamba. And I said, Black Mamba, bull shark. I got it. And Kobe goes like, what? What the fuck do you got? And I go, I get it now. I know why you use bull shark, and then I know why you use Black Mamba. And he goes, okay, explain it to me. I go, well, if you're a snake handler, or everyone knows the Black Mamba is the most difficult snake to control or train, right? And the bull shark, even though everyone thinks the great white is the most dangerous shark in the world, the bull shark is the most dangerous. It attacks everywhere. It lives in rivers. So it's a freshwater slash saltwater. And if you look at, you know, if you watch Shark Week, you know that the bull shark is the most dangerous shark in the world, right? I go, so basically you're equating yourself to be an uncontrollable basketball player on the court, and no one can control you. You do everything on your own. And he just looked at me, smiled, and he did one of these. I got it right then. So, you know, and, you know, Kobe is, I would say in terms of marketing himself, he's probably top of the class. He's a GOAT for that reason. A year later, he came into Upper Deck, gave a speech for the whole entire, you know, obviously the morale's down. He gave a speech for the whole entire Upper Deck staff. It's actually on YouTube. I think it's a little bit edited, but it's on YouTube. And, you know, I saw him in the hallway. I gave him a DVD because he said he was a big anime fan. So I gave him one of my anime DVDs. And he goes, but when he saw me, he goes, yo, Carvin, and give me a big bro hug. This is like a year and a half after the first time I met him. So, I mean, the fact that he remembered my name, gave me a bro hug, just tells me a lot, you know, about the person, that he has a good memory and he's great at marketing. So great personality.
That's awesome, man. Kick us one MJ and one LeBron story. One for me and one for Josh.
Oh, boy.
MJ first. Do MJ first. Okay,
MJ. Okay, I'll do MJ. I don't know if I have a LeBron story, but I'm trying to remember a lot. I got awesome Kobe stories though. But anyways, one of the MJ was the only time I met MJ, like when I actually got introduced to him. I seen him other times at the NBA All-Star game. You know, just walk by him, didn't really talk to him at all. But this is the one time he was. MJ has a motorcycle racing team by Suzuki at the time, and he had two, Kawasaki and Suzuki. So they were riding, I believe it was the 20th anniversary bike. So it had that weird yellow, red type color and the whole mural and all that. And we saw like everyone's out there trying to get MJ's autograph. Everyone's carrying Bulls jerseys with Sharpies and all that, and for him to sign. And he's with his entourage, and MJ's great. Like, you put something in his face, he doesn't even look at it, right? He just walks by you, doesn't care. I wish he would say, just go to Upper Deck's website, you know, go buy a piece there if you want my autograph. But he doesn't say that. So anyways, my boss at the time, and it's kind of ironic, my boss now works for GTS. He's actually one of the ones that got me to work for GTS, so got them to hire me. He said, let's go up to the luxury suite. And I said, yeah, but MJ's down here. He goes, we don't want to hang out down here. So we're walking up, and as we're walking up to the luxury suite, and this is at the Fontana Raceway up in California, and I see up there walking down, like right behind us is MJ. Yeah, he was accompanied by a few people, and Charles Oakley was also with him too. Charles Oak is one of his best friends, and I learned from his brother that Charles Oak is a gourmet chef, so that's why, you know, MJ loves hanging around because he can cook dinner all the time too. So anyways, we walk in there, and there's a person serving us. I said, well, what do you guys want to drink? And got the food ready, got his drinks, and MJ comes walking in with his company. I won't say what kind of company he's with, but he has a company, and he goes, "Hey guys, I don't mean to be rude, but who the fuck are you guys?" and my boss goes, "Oh, Upper Deck." He goes, yeah. And then he goes, "Okay, well, enjoy, right?" And then afterwards, he sits down. He goes, "Where's Richard?" And my boss said, "Oh, well, Richard's having his third child." And then that's when MJ goes, That's right. He remembers that. And he goes, well, I'm glad you guys can make it, right?" And I was just going to the other person I was with, another colleague. I was like, we got told to go fuck off by Michael Jordan. How awesome is that? Like, that's just awesome. It's a great story to always remember, that's just amazing. So, but the rest of the day, I mean, we didn't really talk to MJ. I just said bye to him at the end of the day, and I started talking to Oakley more. And obviously, it's kind of odd. Oakley has this kind of like really, he mumbles, right? And he had his friend with him, and I was just talking to Oak, and I go, "Hey, Charles," and he was talking. I couldn't understand him. His friend had to kind of translate what he was saying to me in English, right? And I was like, I feel really awkward here. I just, it was a bad position to be in. And I said, "Well, I'm from Toronto, and I followed you as part of the Raptors." He goes, "Yeah, Toronto. Cousins." And I was like, "Cousins? Oh, McGrady and Carter, right?" He goes, "Yeah, we could have won championships with those damn Cousins." so pure to Oak, and he told us all kinds of stories about Kwame Brown and all that. It was a great day just for hearing these stories and be able to tell the legacy of some of these stories. So that's my MJ story. Let me see LeBron. The first time we met him was at the Upper Deck. We had a horse tournament, so 5 collectors got a chance to get raffles, or just big time collectors got a chance to play horse against LeBron. And LeBron was so pissed off because we had an outdoor net where all the Upper Deck employees played, but he was shooting from like 3 feet behind the 3-point line and all that, and the rim would just rattle, right, and the ball would bounce out. And he turns around talking to Maverick and all those guys. Goes, "God damn! Like, what kind of rim is that? All my shots aren't going in; it's just bouncing out." And needless to say, the first guy beat him, and all the guy was just doing is just talking trash to LeBron, saying, "I beat LeBron." So he beat LeBron, and then LeBron got pissed off and started dunking on the next few guys. And then afterwards he said, no, it's okay. But he was doing some fancy shots. He did like a 360 layup shot. And this Asian kid, he's a big collector. He plays basketball, obviously, but he managed to do a 360 layup, doing a reverse 360 layup. I was like, damn. And LeBron's just going like, holy shit, what the hell happened? I'm getting stood up by this Asian dude. He didn't lose another match, but LeBron was fun that day. I mean, I was a lot younger LeBron when I first met him. I think I met LeBron like 2 or 3 times, and most of it was before him going to Miami. So I think he's matured a lot more now since the Miami days.
Wow.
But, yeah. We'll share some more stories next time. Let's get into the juicy stuff about card sets and all that.
So, and when I'm gonna try and move quickly here, because I got some questions for you and I know some things that I don't think anybody else knows that you know, or that I know that you. All right, so here's one that I want to hit on first. So we'll try to keep these short and sweet. All right, what's this, Carvin? You know what product this is, don't you?
F1 Chrome, definitely. I mean,
F1 Chrome.
Yeah.
All right, this is what its graph looks like. We love when graphs look like that. All right, so before this product came out, Carvin was on Clubhouse and he said, "I think this is an interesting product. There's some things to like here," laid out some philosophies of why it was a good product. Some of the people on Clubhouse ended up buying hundreds of boxes when it first came out, listening to Carvin's wisdom. They were getting those boxes at around $500 a piece. They're now worth $2,000 a piece. So, Carvin, what did you see in Formula One that made you confident in it? And how do you see that product going into the future?
So the reason why I liked F1 was, number one, it's like the First Prism product. Like, you look at First Prism, UFC now has gone shooting up. First Prism, WNBA has gone up. First Prism, obviously 12, 13, now I believe 12 football, all that stuff is going up. Well, the same thing could be said for Topps Chrome. I mean, Chrome is the OG Prism, if you want to say, for lack of a better word. So the first Chrome sets have that opportunity. Like, let's talk about 96, 97 Chrome, the first ever Chrome set, and you can't find those boxes. Yes, it was different distribution only in Walmart, and I believe it was only Walmart exclusive, that one, the first year. So, you know, with that being said, the first set of Chrome, we know that, you know, Bowman does well for baseball, but all the other sports, it's always Chrome. It's not Bowman. And it's kind of unique that Bowman Chrome is the one for baseball, and that doesn't work for football, didn't work for hockey. So in this case, I was like, hey, first Chrome set, F1. Now, why do I like F1? F1 is a worldwide sport. And it's the only sport really that travels from country to country to country. And there's a lot of unknown. I was digging through some internet sites to find out how much each race they win, how much is the purse money they win. And for a long time, I thought it was just a few $1 million, but they upped the ante. Each race, they estimate about $140 to $160 million purse money for the winning team. That's how much they get paid, right? And also on top of it, if you look at like the social status of these drivers, like a Lewis Hamilton or Max Verstappen, they're superstars. They're not just superstars; they're iconic stars in terms of the world of sport. If you look at their salaries, like Lewis Hamilton makes $40 million a year. Schumacher, back in the day in the '90s, was making $33 million. He made the highest salary of all players, of all athletes. So I knew this because I followed F1 from '78 on. So I've been a big supporter of F1, and I was wishing that there would be an F1 set similar to this. So I will show you some of my PC. Don't worry, another time if you want to see it, just a little bit. But either way, like, I mean, F1, I just thought it was a no-brainer, all rookie cards, because Lewis Hamilton never had a license card yet. The first license card, just like similar to Tiger Woods' first Upper Deck card, is his rookie card. Now, we get that the SI for Kids is worth more money. We get it that the Masters card, the Tall Boy Masters card, is worth more money, but that's not licensed by the PGA. And other Lewis Hamilton cards, the Futura cards, they're not licensed by FIA, the F1 Federation. So, you know, that is the reason why I liked it. And I said every single card is a rookie card. So how can you go wrong when you have 20 rookie cards plus the F2 drivers? And I think it's shown its value. Just to know too, the SRP on those boxes is only $80. So SRP is 80, not 500. So when I'm talking about, like, you know, you could have, on a wholesale price, you could have paid like $60, $70 a box. And it was never allocated. Everyone says it's allocated. It was never allocated. I know that for a fact. So, I mean, some of my customers that ordered the product after I pushed this on them made over $1 million in profit with less than 100,000 in principal. So
that's incredible. Okay, so let's talk about that for a second now, because you mentioned earlier that you work for GTS. Yeah. And but you've also had other positions in the industry as well. Yeah. What do you using your experience, what would you tell somebody who wanted to make a career in sports cards and in the sports card industry?
Great question.
It all depends on what level you want to. Like, obviously, I started as a collector, right? And then I went into having my own business, and I worked for a distributor in Canada, and I got to go to Upper Deck, which was really the trigger for me to start my own business in trading cards back in '89. After that, I saw that set. So I always felt that after, you know, like one of the big companies I actually like a lot of their inserts, and no one's really talked about them, is Pinnacle. They just never had a basketball license, but if you look at some of their inserts, they're just phenomenal. Like the Dufex technology and all that. And I was a big fan of that. In fact, the hollow foil on Exquisite, I think the first ever set that I saw hollow foil was the 94, 95 artist proof Pinnacle cards. So that's what attracted me to hollow foil. But going past that, when I got the chance to go to Upper Deck, that's a dream job. But what I will say when I tell people about going to sports or sports type jobs, like, everyone wants to get into sports, right? They want to work for a sports team. They want to work for trading card companies. It has to be a passion job. It doesn't pay well because, you know, everyone wants to work in sports. When everyone wants that job, they get their pick of the litter, and they also say, well, you know, we don't have to pay you that much. We can hire anyone that's 22, 23 out of college, and you know, that's what we offer, right? So what I will say is that, you know, for any job that you are passionate about, first thing first is put aside the financial compensation, financial gains, make it work, right? And then work just extra hard at it, get recognized, even if you're not getting paid overtime, just do your job and people will see who shines through. And if it's a passion job, you'll love what you're doing no matter what you do, right? So, at the end of the day, you could be making $250,000 a year, but if you hate your job, you're just going to be stressed and you're just going to go, oh man, I hate this job. So that's why I know you guys love your job and you guys are happy for it. So I know financially it might not be the best thing, but I know, in your heart, it's what you want. And guess what? Over time, through hard work, your integrity, your brand, everyone gets to know who you are. Everything will come, everything will be okay over time, right? So, we're not all going to be billionaires. We're not going to be multi-millionaires, except for Josh, since he drives a Civic. He saves his money. but outside of that, I mean, we love what we do, and that's what's more important than anything else. We're happy every day. So,
no doubt. Well said, man. Real quick, Carvin, NBA champion this year. Who you got?
Oh, this is a tough one. Like with Kyrie being out, I'm not sure that the Bucks can do it again. The Lakers, if they're healthy, definitely is a team to watch out for. So, last year, I said on Phoenix. I love to say it's Phoenix, but the target's on them now, right? So, I do like Phoenix. I do like the Lakers. So I think it's Phoenix or the Lakers coming out of the West. Even though I like Denver, but I think Denver's game, they're gonna have to do something about Jokic, right? And Jamal Murray, I'm not sure if Jamal Murray even fits on the team now after they're paying a full max to Michael Porter now. So it's definitely difficult to pick a team. I'd say Phoenix and the Lakers. If the Lakers are healthy. If not, it'll be Phoenix and Denver in the conference finals. I don't see anybody beating the Nets. So that's last year I was really down the Nets, but I think this year they got some chemistry going, and if Kyrie comes back, he actually might disrupt the chemistry. So,
That's like
the irony. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, the irony of it too is that it's because of Kyrie that Durant and eventually Harden came to Brooklyn, and now
right.
He's the odd man out. So, okay, what about NFL, Carvin? Who you got winning the NFL this year?
Well, I put money on Dallas, and Dallas is my favorite team, so I got to cheer them on, right? And they look pretty good right now.
They look pretty good, man. They look really good.
And I like that the fact that they're balanced and the coaching staff is that they feel they got to throw the ball like they did against Tampa. They're not being predictable in their offense. So I think that Dallas has a good shot. I was always down on Kansas City. I didn't think they had the defense to do it. Everyone's high on Tampa, but we're seeing a lot of holes in Tampa right now, right? So there could be a surprise team. Like the Bills look really good. Bills have a strong defense. Josh Allen is consistent.
Cardinals
look good. And they got Zach Ertz now. That was a huge trade for them. That's
an Arizona sweep. It's an Arizona sweep this year.
Well, it was Tampa last year. Tampa was in all the finals last year, right? So, except for basketball, but outside of that, they were in the baseball World Series. They were in hockey. They won hockey, and they won NFL. So they had 2 out of 4. So as long as it's not New England, I don't need Boston Clutchers to say. I just want to hear them cry that we don't have a championship. They always cry about that after having every single sport won in the last 15 years. It's just like, I felt bad for Boston for many years for not having a championship. I do not feel bad anymore now.
No doubt. All right, Carvin, thank you for coming on. We're gonna save further discussions for the future episodes if you're able to grace us in the future with your presence.
Oh, no problems. No exquisite questions. I'm shocked.
we got what we got, but look, and also everybody go watch Carvin's appearance with Ken last night. Excellent discussion that those guys had. Great episode with Ken in general. So Carvin, see you on Clubhouse after this, right. I hope.
Yep, we will. We'll be there.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
Okay. All right. See ya. See everyone.
And now let me figure out if I can bring us back to being 2 of us. I think I've done it. There, I've done it. Okay. There you guys go. You asked and you received. Love having Carvin on. Okay. We had a boatload of questions this week, and a lot of topics to talk about this week. But okay, so first up, we always start with mail days. So I think you may have a few. I have two, and you may have quite a few.
Well, then why don't you go first?
All right, I'll go quickly. Just two mail days. Spectra Gold Vinyl 2018 McCaffrey. Both the base and the variation, 1 of 1. Graded these ourselves.
Is that it?
That's it. So both.
Just some 101s. By the way, sorry, are those rookies?
Say that again. You broke up a little bit.
Are those rookies?
No, those are second years.
Oh, okay. God, you're really slipping, man.
I know. What am I gonna do? All right, let's get to the 16.
Well, those are great cards, man. You've just been stacking freaking 101s and stuff. How many 101s do you have now?
I think 22.
What the? Are you serious?
Yeah.
If you would have asked me, I would have said like 7.
Oh, I've got quite a few.
Oh my gosh, you need to take a picture of all of them together once it's like a little bit settled and you're not buying one every 10 minutes, because the picture just gets out of date quick.
That's the problem. I don't want it. I hate taking that picture and then I get a new one and it feels old.
All right, I have a ton of stuff, so I'm gonna go fast as well. Otherwise, it'll be like a 20-minute freaking thing. First, I wanted to do a small shout out to Andy from IndyCard Exchange.
Yeah,
we were talking at National, and we were just like talking about stuff, and then he messaged me like, "Hey, I want to send you some stuff." So he was nice. Maybe you can help me then. I don't know much about Jordan stuff, but he sent me this one, which is pretty awesome. It's got a jersey patch on it, PSA graded. Oh, here, you're gonna like this one.
Love it. Yeah, Fleer Tradition. Yep, the classic.
Is this the one that you have, or you have the other one?
I have the other one.
You have the other one. These are still great cards. And then my favorite of the bunch.
Nice. Thrill Seekers.
97 Thrill Seekers. It's got like the PMG Championship background.
Yeah.
And the texture is really cool on those. It's almost like a paper. I already did the mail day on the exquisites, but I'll just go through them quick since I haven't done them on this live. And I've got them prepped for grading.
Explain the color coding, the tabs as well.
Oh, there is no color coding. That's just the way that they come out. That's the order they come out.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm really big on like the OCD of.
The tab helps the card come out, right?
Yeah. So the grader, I have them sleeved, and I have the sleeves cut in the corner, so I didn't ding the corners. And then I have them in thick top loaders, and so they're a little bit tight. So I put in the tab so the grader can slide around out. Okay. One exquisite. I'm not going to name them all. There's just too much. I don't want to sit here and. There's the RPA. All raw, all from Tim. Exquisite collector. Limited logos, rookie. This one might be my favorite. 09. Exquisite 25. Oh man, I love these ones. 2007. This one's the one that most people like.
Yeah.
Only 10 of those. This one. All right, and then the ones I got today, I got these in today. Well, that's a lie. I got this one a few days ago. 2007 Topps Chrome X Factor out of 50. Then this one today, 2009 Topps Chrome. I think this one's 50 out of 50 as well. 50 out of 50. Love that one. Here's a rookie, Gold Finest. This is probably my favorite set. This 2005 Finest. Gold. And look at that jersey number.
Whoa.
LeBron Jordan. And then the big one, 2008 Topps Chrome PSA 10 red. These bad boys are numbered to 5.
People don't know about those Topps Chrome reds if they just focus on basketball. Baseball guys know about them, but basketball guys don't. They don't know about those Topps Chrome reds out of 5 and a PSA 10.
There's another year where there's a Bowman Chrome red out of 5, but I don't even think there's any others. There's like not very many other reds at all in basketball. They kind of started it late, and they didn't do it in 2009. So they're tough to find. I know some people that are like trying to collect this red set, which is like twice as hard as the PMG greens. It's pretty obnoxious to collect.
No doubt.
That is all.
Wow. Okay, so how far along would you say you are in the CP3? Somebody put a comment to the chat that said starts PC, finished a few weeks later. How far along would you say you are here?
I don't know, like a third of the way.
Okay.
It's not really. It's gonna be tough to gauge that because like I had scoped out where a lot of these were. So like I hit the ground running because I knew where a lot of these already were. Like I've literally like picked PWCC, eBay, My Slabs. I've picked them clean. There's nothing left. At this point, it's like you already know. Like it's basically like if something falls into your lap or it hits eBay. Other than that, I'm just waiting.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
Unless Tim wants to sell me some more stuff.
Yeah, I kind of reject the premise of those questions if I want to get technical for a second. I don't think a PC is ever complete. It's always evolving. It's always changing, right? That's what I think. Okay, next topic.
I'm a math guy, so you ask me a math question, I need an answer.
You need something finite and
finite.
We broke this news tonight,
although
this sale actually happened on September 27th. So you've been keeping a big secret for a few weeks. But yeah, congrats to Josh. Sold a bittersweet moment to be sure, but sold his LeBron Exquisite RPA 2 weeks ago for $1 million. So congrats to you. All the group chats that I'm in, everybody was talking about it. And, I don't know, do you want to, if I even ask you anything about it, do you have any comments that you want to make? Or I'm sure 1 million people have hit you up asking about it as well.
Yeah. I mean, most people are just saying congrats. So, thanks to everybody who's messaged me. Very exciting for me and more specifically for me and my family. It was a hard decision. The thing that made the decision a little bit easier for me was that I only had to sell one card. I'm a big time LeBron collector. I love LeBron, and I have some financial goals for myself and my family. I don't know if you guys care about any of that stuff, but I've always been pretty frugal, as you could tell with the Honda and all the jokes about that stuff. But I'm pretty serious about my financial security, and I focus pretty heavily on some core values around how to save money and kind of retiring young and things like that. So this was a step towards that, and I didn't want to sell a lot of cards, so I thought maybe I'll just skip a bunch of steps, sell one card, and kind of be done with it. And that's kind of the option that was presented to me. It was like I could sell one card, get to my goals, and then just kind of keep chugging along and pretend like I never owned that card, and keep going. Like I don't really want to sell any cards, but I had an opportunity that I didn't want to pass on. So, some people are like, hey, they're potentially thinking like I'm selling everything, freaking out. That is the opposite of the case. I sold it so that I could keep going. like I've been saying, I don't have $1 billion. I don't have like infinite money coming in. So to be able to sell just one card, and then use that to continue on my journey is great. Extend my collecting life a lot longer.
Like Frankie says, now you actually need to hate the card.
I know the patch, not great. BGS 8. And we will be the buyer didn't want to reveal himself yet because he or she hasn't picked it up yet. Doesn't have it in their hands, so they want to wait. So I didn't want to say anything about the buyer. So I know they're really excited about it, and they're excited to show everybody. And it's someone in our space. So I will say that it's not a fund. It's not a mysterious figure, billionaire person. It's someone that's worked really hard in our space, and they deserve it. So I'm excited for the buyer just as much as me.
Congrats to you. Congrats to the buyer. I think it would be a lot of fun to get a LeBron RPA and then enjoy it throughout the duration of this season with a lot of high hopes for the Lakers. So congrats to him. Congrats to you. You have quickly developed an insane Chris Paul PC, including a gorgeous CP3 RPA from Exquisite. So you still got the good Exquisite RPA on deck. But great story, man. Great. It was 2 years ago or so little less than
Got
2
me
years
here.
ago when you got that card.
Mhm.
So, and dude, at the time, I remember when you got it, you know, people weren't dropping $200,000 on cards. You know, it was a different time. And I believe that there's an underbidder. The second highest on that card was a pretty well-known guy. So you really went hard to get that card.
Well, he texted me that, and he's like, "I think I was the underbidder on that. Like, you motherfucker, you cost me $20,000." He was like, he thought it'd be like a fun little thing between us. I was like, "This isn't fun. You cost me 20 grand." No, just kidding. It was funny.
And now
No, I remember having pretty strong conviction about the card. And it was never like the card that I like dreamed of having in my PC in terms of like, this is like my aesthetically best dream card of all time. It was more of like a status thing to own that card, as you probably know. And so like just to be able to kind of, you know, have people follow my journey to go get that card as, you know, just an everyday person, just a regular collector, to be able to acquire it was a fun project for me. And so, you know, I've owned it for a while. I had my fun with it, but now I'm kind of ready to take the next step. So like my friend Frankie says, you know, move on, treat that card like a piece of crap and go to the next one. That's how us collectors think.
What for those who might not know, what LeBrons do you have in the collection still?
Oh, I will direct you. Actually, this is a funny story. My Flickr is like no joke. The second I get a card, it goes into my Flickr, and I'm very serious about my Flickr, my front and back scans. I don't know if anyone knows that. You can follow my moves if you just look at my Flickr. So a couple of very smart, astute people messaged me, and they're like, "You sold the LeBron? How the fuck did you know that?" "Well, you moved it from your LeBron album to your sold album on Flickr." And I was like, "God damn it, you're right. You're right." So
let me pull up the Flickr.
sure.
Josh Johnson. What's the there's a number on it too, right?
Nope. You should be able to just search my name. Here, let me send you the link. Do you have Messenger?
Yep, send it to me on FB, and then I can show the pictures while you talk about it a little bit, because it's harder to see the pictures on that bottom screen too. All right, there we go.
Your screen's pretty big, right?
Yeah, I think my screen's big enough. Okay. So, and if people wanted to get to your Flickr, how would they do it? Just okay, by Joshua Johnson. So, there you go. All right. So let me pull up. Am I in? Okay, I'm in that LeBron album. Okay. All right. So what do we have here, man?
This is the 2003 Finest Gold Refractor. This is the card here where no amount of money can pry this away from me. Like, I don't have a number. Don't ask me about it. I would never sell this card. I would sell every other card before this one. It's my favorite card. I love the style, the grade, the serial number, the rarity, everything, the design. That card is like perfection to me, so not moving that one. You can go faster, dude. I'm gonna sit here and like jerk off to my own card. This one is I'm probably most well known for this one because, you know, the story behind it. 01 out of 50. This is another one where like I like the gold stuff more than I like that rookie exquisite, so definitely keeping these instead of that one.
Yeah, these are gigantic cards.
And then this is the main reason I felt good about selling the rookie exquisite, because I have another RPA. And this one's game worn, and it's a higher grade, better patch, better auto. I don't know. You know, maybe I'm just the guy with eyeballs, and I like this one a little bit better in the looks department, and it's a lot cheaper, and so that was kind of my thought. This is the card I traded with Tim. I traded my PMG championship to get this. It's got the little 23 inscription, 01 out of 23. Pretty sick card. I want the CP3 of this, but it's numbered to 3, and Tim has one, and I don't know if he's gonna sell me that. That card is. That's the one I really want.
Good luck.
What's up, Adam? Yeah, 2003 limited logos, gang. We gotta stick together. I know you got that Wade. 2009. 2009 is my favorite year of Exquisite. They just did such a great job. So this is 2009 dual Jordan LeBron. 2008 Topps Chrome PSA 10 Chalk Toss. We're almost to the end. This is my favorite Topps Chrome because it's got an unbelievable action shot, and it's numbered to 25. This is my favorite designed card, really. I love this one. Finest Gold 39 PSA 10. When I graded that, it was a pop 1. I was the first one to grade a PSA 10. I think there's like 4 now, including the 23 out of 39.
And here we're at the end of the roll.
And then the jersey numbered 2009 Noble nameplates LeBron. And I have a big time LeBron coming in next week. I'm just waiting for PSA to reslap it.
For some reason, the number was printed upside down might not be fair, but it's printed in a weird direction. But it's number 6 of 18.
Or it's graded in a weird direction.
Or it's graded in a weird direction.
Like it slides in a weird direction.
Okay, so I may have sensed that people were wondering, his Josh sold, a significant part of LeBron PC, and I think that answers the question.
I sold 1/10 of it.
There you go. All right. Oh, before we move off this topic, Adams Lefko said this. A couple other people agreed. What is your financial philosophy? I think now is as good of a time as any. And Adam said it might help people who haven't thought about it or who might be interested in that topic.
Sure. I probably need a couple more beers to get really into it, but like the short of it is that I believe that people living in today's modern society are too focused on acquiring things in their life, and they're not focused enough on what it is that truly makes them happy. And so for me, I have a lot of things that I would like to do. I like to work on, and being more involved in cards is one of them. And in order to reach all of those goals, you need to have money. That's just kind of the reality of the situation. You cannot live without money in today's society. So I treat money as like a very, very important asset in life. Like I hate spending money. If every dollar I spend has to go either towards something that will appreciate in value, or that like I need it to survive, like housing or water. Like the car, I don't need a car to survive. It makes my life easier to get from point A to point B. So I spend as little possible on a car because it depreciates in value. It has no meaning to me. And so with that, like I have a goal to reach a financial goal in terms of money that I need to be secure, and where I can do whatever I want. I can work on any project I want. I can volunteer my time. I have goals to do a lot more volunteer work with kids, children. I would like to teach people about these philosophies on how to save money and be frugal and enjoy your life over things. And so like if I want to be able to volunteer, you don't get paid to do that. So I need money. So I've just been saving like a crazy person, not spending money like a crazy person. You guys are very similar, you and Christina, like in your frugality and the way you look at life. And so that's probably why we get along a lot.
We're a bunch of cheekwads.
Yeah. Thank you, sports cards, right? And this LeBron sale just kind of fast tracked a lot of this for me. It's got me closer to that financial goal much, much quicker. And, I'm only 33, and so I feel like I'm going to get there soon. And it'll be card ladder, it'll be Honda Civics, and it'll be LeBron cards. And that's kind of, that'll be the future.
That sounds like an album title.
It should be a rap album.
Yes. Maybe that's Young Jeezy's next album. All right.
Yeah.
There you guys go. Now we have a bunch of topics. It's always the weeks where we have like so much stuff going on that it all piles up. Where were these questions last week? All right. Other
when we were
news.
grading like D's and F's on questions, and now they're A's. And
now they're all A's. Okay. Well, we had 5 or 6 questions on this topic. So we broke the news of this private sale, which happened a few days ago. This is a 2018 gold Kaboom, Tom Brady BGS 9.5, sold for $120,000. Once again, a private transaction. The last sale, as you can see, was $13,000. This card has gone up over 800% in a period of a little over 8 months. And so some of the questions we got on this, because people feel strongly on this, Brady Collector TX writes in and wants to know, Brady, Kaboom, and refractor sales. Could you talk about these? And so I actually put that question first because there actually was a big Brady rookie Bowman Chrome rookie refractor sale as well that happened that was on the Card Ladder headline. So when we broke the gold Kaboom sale, right beneath it was the Brady Bowman Chrome refractor sale. A PSA 9 sold for an all-time high of $150,000 on the same day. So people would like to talk about both of those, and maybe they're a good juxtaposition, contrasting them against each other, those two sales. Titty Sub says, are people on drugs when they buy cards? For example, the Brady Kaboom. Card Collecting 82 says, show us on this doll where the Kabooms hurt you and made you so angry. Drake's PC says, can anyone besides the buyer justify spending $120,000 for a Brady Gold Kaboom? Shayway Vlogs says, why does Gold Kaboom out of 10 keep making new records in the hobby? And Creps and Cards, final comment, says, does Shay deserve respect for being early on Gold Kabooms? And Spurs Cards 21, yes, I did say Titty Subs, just as you spelled it. Great hobby account. Follow it if you don't. Okay. What do we want to say to all these people who are fascinated by this Kaboom sale?
Well, Shay's finally going to break even on these cards. I'll say that.
Congrats,
finally, it's finally reaching the value that he paid for him. Smart.
Congrats, Shay. Although I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but Brady has sort of become, I think, the name that's synonymous with Kaboom. So it's a playing years card for Tom Brady, and 2018 Kaboom is the first year that featured Brady. That's not the case for basketball. Basketball Kabooms go back to 2013. I think Kaboom, the headline that I wrote when we broke that sale was that Brady is the king of Kabooms, and I think he is. So I don't know how much extrapolating we can do from the Brady sale, but there surely is a rising tide lifting all boats going on here. I think that's without a doubt. But the whole Kaboom market is interesting, and if you're interested in following it, Card Ladder literally has every Kaboom card in its database. Every one, all of them. If it's ever sold once, Card Ladder has it in the database. And there's been some intentional systematic acquisitions of Kaboom that's happened over the last 3 to 4 months. The market rise is not 100% organic. How that plays out in the long term when you have big fish in the sea who are intentionally buying them up at higher and higher prices, is it sustainable? Time will tell. But obviously people are very excited about this set and these cards. So
yeah, they're excited about it because they just care about the financial gain they got from it, and not necessarily like, I want to go get more Kabooms. No. It's a totally greed-driven financial, celebration of these cards going up and up, and I think people are going to get destroyed on these cards. That's my opinion. Everyone knows what I think about Kaboom already. The higher it goes up, the more crazy I think you guys are. What do you want me to say? I don't hate Kaboom. I think this is insane. 120 grand for a non-rookie is insane.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I agree. So not organic. Can you talk more about that? I haven't heard this. Yeah. So there's been, and I don't think it's too hidden. There's certain accounts on Instagram that you can follow that are associated as investors with certain entities. I know that's very vague, but I don't want to get in the business of naming people and driving attention to it and promoting them or not promoting them. But there are certain accounts associated with certain business entities that are clearly marketing themselves as institutional scale buyers of Kaboom cards. And that's fine. That's completely within the right of any person or entity to hoard cards. I'm doing some hoarding myself right now. Everybody hoards cards that they like. But the question has to be asked, what happens when that behavior stops? Will the market be able to carry itself on its own organic energy at that point or not? Or will there be a drop-off?
The 2018 PSA 10 Kaboom Kobe Bryant has been cut in half in value. So if you want to look forward and figure out what's going to happen. Just pick some of the ones that were manipulated early on.
Yeah, so let's look at that one, because this one is a good comparison to what's going on with Brady. So this is the 2018 Kobe Kaboom PSA 10. Current value about $6,700. Here's what its all-time graph looks like. In March of 2020, it was selling for around $500. In March of 2021, it was selling for over $12,000, and now it's selling for trading at around $6,700. And then the difference.
Important to note that this card was a reward card, not a pack pull.
Right.
So 2018 had Kabooms in packs, and then a Panini Multisport Kaboom Reward. And this Kobe is the Kaboom Reward Multisport.
There you go. So, and Christina knows, all right? Christina has been following Kabooms quite closely. Okay. So the green line here is the Kobe, which we just looked at by itself. The blue line is the 2018 Kaboom Tom Brady, which is the first year of Kabooms for Brady, but it is not for Kobe. So you can see where the two trajectories have crossed. So as the Kobe has been retreating, the Brady has been escalating. And the Brady has now overtaken the Kobe by a comfortable margin. The Brady is a little over 10,000 last comp. Kobe, 6,700. So everything should be treated on a case-by-case basis if it can, right? So little data for you guys. Okay, anything else on gold Kabooms?
No, people are just going to say that I hate it, so I just can't say anything.
But how about this too? Because the last question was, do people deserve respect for being early on gold Kabooms? The word respect is interesting. People deserve congratulations. And, look, anytime somebody is able to identify a card that goes up in value, congrats. That's excellent. I'm very happy for all those people. But respect is a weird word because, to me, I think we're all more so just beneficiaries of having been part of an industry that absolutely exploded. And I don't think we should let it go to our heads or become egotistical about it. I think we should be grateful. Hey, we have a great industry. People are coming into it. People will continue to come into it. Prices go up as a result. That's great. But it's not really a question of respect. I think it's more so a question of congratulations and great for everybody who's happy about that. But what does it mean? You identified a card that you like. Hey, congratulations. You like a card and you own it. You identified a card that other people like, and so you're just playing a market. Well, congratulations again. But on that point, I think this is more of a systemic market growth that we're experiencing here. And I don't want to congratulate anybody if they're just playing the sports card market. I don't admire that. I'm not interested in people who are flipping cards every 6 months or 3 months or whatever. I don't relate to that. I don't connect to that. I'm involved with cards because I love cards. And if I sell a card, it's because I need it to, or because I'm trying to get a better card. This isn't a financial asset or a financial instrument purely from just my point of view as a collector. So I don't go out of my way to congratulate people on making money on cards because that's not what we're in it for. If you're not building a great collection and you're not impressing me with the cards you've acquired and the collection that you're amassing, then, go somewhere else for the hashtag thank you sports cards. That's my take.
Yeah, that's a good take.
Okay.
And yeah, I was just going to say that, it's great you made money on a card at the cost of your own dignity, where you had to manipulate it and mention every sale that's happened and pump it to the moon and brag about it all the time. I don't know. I'm not impressed by the means in which you got to that point. I'm not impressed by that.
No doubt. Okay. Good. Kaboom. Oh, Kelvin says, what if you're flipping cards for profit to pay for your PC? That's great, man. A lot of us do that. We've all done that. Or, different term is consolidation. What if you acquire 20 cards, all of a sudden, hey, I've got 30 grand worth of cards, and I'd like to go get one 30 grand value card rather than have 20 that are worth 1,000 to 1,500 a piece. We've all done that. To me, what's important also from like a macroeconomic point of view is people putting money back into our industry and not taking it out, not extracting it. It grows our industry when people reinvest in it. You don't have to, but it helps. It really does.
Well, then you're mad at me this week, Chris?
Well, I see where your money's flowing. You're buying Chris Paul cards. You're growing a different part of the pie. But look, and it's not a perfect system. It's really not. And nobody can reinvest all the gains into cards. That's just not realistic. But on balance, as a stakeholder in the industry, I'm sure you're the same way. Christina's the same way. All of us in this chat are probably the same way. As stakeholders in this industry, we would prefer to see money going back into the hobby economy rather than being taken out of it. It's not realistic that always is going to happen, but on balance, it's better for all of us if that's the way it works out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Jordan Hudson's comments here. Honestly, if you want to impress me, do something for someone without expecting anything in return. Not many people do that these days. That's a great way to earn respect as well. Just do kind, nice things. That's why the word respect was a bit of a strange word to me.
Yeah, I'll take that one further.
Sure.
That's a great, I love that. I totally agree. That doesn't just, I'm just going to clarify, that doesn't just mean like giving someone an item or giving someone money or giving someone a card. It could mean giving someone your time and your humility, like going out of your way to say something nice about someone else's PC or lend a hand in terms of advice or knowledge or really anything like that. I think, I don't want to put words in the mouth of that comment, but I think it can mean lots of different things.
Totally. Okay, moving on. Mostly 90s basketball cards says the word Grail is overused, but everyone defines it differently. How many Grails are in your collection?
Yeah, I was thinking about that the other day. Do we overuse that term? Because we basically started categorizing it, you and I together, as like, you've spent, let's say, like 3 months building up enough cash to go get or you traded some cards or sold some cards to go get a Grail, and it's just sort of become this term to us to imply like you've spent, more than one paycheck to go get a card, and it's like one bigger card. It used to mean 20,000. That was like our number. Remember, like 20 grand was always like our tipping point for like, okay, this is usually like a huge Jordan card, or for me it was like a huge LeBron. And so now that 20 grand is like, it'll barely get you a Luka, like contenders, like BGS 8. So I'm not sure. I think it's just kind of different for each person, and maybe we've kind of diluted the term a little bit. But I would say, I have a lot of Grails though. It's like I feel like a lot of my cards are Grails, and it's also relative. Like my Grail for CP3 is worth a very small percentage of a Grail for LeBron. I think it just kind of means like, whatever you're currently after your goal or whatever, it's just like a really high, tough to reach point within that goal.
Totally. Yeah. No. Every card in me and Christina's collection is a Grail. If it's not, it's not lasting. So
yeah,
they all are. I don't know, probably 50 or 60. Because like what makes a card a Grail for Christian McCaffrey is very different than what makes a card a Grail for Luka or Jordan. And we now have 11 Lukas, one in the mail. Got an absolute steal on eBay the other day, just praying it arrives. And we have 10 Jordans. 11 Lukas, 10 Jordans, and probably 40 McCaffreys or so that fall into the Grail category. If it's not a Grail, I don't want it. That's just...
That's like when I posted like, hey, I'm looking for high-end CP3. You told me a story about this too, and people post. It's not, and I'm not like teasing these people at all, but they'll post stuff that's like, no, it's got to be like, this card's got to like blow my socks off, or I just don't want it.
Yep, no doubt.
It's got to be like at a 5, or it's got to be like a PSA 11, and it's got to be insane.
PSA 11. Okay, Mintish Cards. Oh, this is a good topic. Mintish Cards says, will Zion Williamson have a devastating impact on the hobby? Is he the mortgage meltdown of 2008 all over again?
Oh man, I thought we were just gonna like be down about Zion itself, and we're talking about the whole industry. No, no, there's no way that he could bring down the whole industry because I mean, Zion is just one person. He's one player out of. I mean, he sort of represents, along with like Luca and Trey, he represents like the younger generation of cards and like the really high dollar spending prospecting, Herbert and Burrow. Like there's the guys that sort of hold down that fort. But I don't think so. I think if he were to actually like completely disappear from basketball, I think everything would be fine. I mean, the housing financial meltdown was because like a large majority of people weren't paying their mortgages and they couldn't. Like there was a much bigger piece of the pie being taken out of the industry versus one player.
Yeah, that question is a tad melodramatic, but I love the question. I used to hate this about the hobby. My first 2 to 3 years, I used to hate questions like this. Is the whole thing crumbling? Will this prospect busting be the end of the industry? Will trimming or some other scandal, will it just be the end of the industry? It struck me as so melodramatic, so negative, so counterproductive. Now I love questions like this. Questions like this balance the equation. They're a necessary counterpart to unbridled optimism that often accompanies cards, especially in moments of bull runs, which like it sort of looks like we might kind of be in one, at least in certain segments of the hobby again right now that are doing very, very well. But the pragmatic, realistic answer to that question is there is no one player. There is not even any one sport as a whole that makes or breaks the sports card industry. But with that said, like it's super scary that Zion had an undisclosed broken foot. And now after they said, the Pelicans said that he would be ready for game 1 of the regular season, he's not going to be now. He has no timetable for his return. I don't think it's going to be forever, but it's just, it's not fun. Collecting an injured player is not fun, let me tell you. And Zion prices are going insane right now. On Golden Auctions right now, there is a Zion National Treasures RPA out of 99, a BGS 9 that is at $142,000 with BP. That is a monster all-time high for Zion NTRPA in that grade. So a Zion Black Gold Prism BGS 9 just sold for $200,000. Zion prices are going crazy right now. So, yeah, there might be a little pain for the Zion market here, depending. And the prospects on that team, the projections for the Pelicans this year weren't good already.
Yes. Yeah, I am actually pretty worried about Zion's future because he's a really big kid. I think he's the second heaviest player in the NBA, behind Boban, and he relies on his leaping ability, his jumping ability, his athleticism, and if that begins to be taken away from him early, I definitely worried about it. I mean, he's got a great overall game. He's a very skilled player. I just worry a little bit about foot injuries with bigger guys. Like we saw with Yao Ming, he's a very heavy player and he had foot problems, and he was never able to. Greg Oden, like it's tough when you have that much weight on those feet. It makes me nervous. I don't want to say sell all your Zion and freak out. Just as someone looking on, I would be a little bit nervous.
I said it was at 142 with buyer's premium. More bids have come in. More bids have come in since the news of his broken foot. It's currently with the 23% standard buyer's premium that's applied. It's at $160,000. $160,000. If you use the Collectible app, Collectible has the Stars and Stripes Zion RPA, which I believe those are around 30. BGS 9, the market cap is currently around 90,000. So either those shares are super cheap right now, or that Zion RPA BGS 9 is really high.
Yeah, that's incredible.
All right, next question. Spurs Cards 21. After seeing Ken Golden's Jeter grades, is it that graders just don't know what right looks like? Do you know what he's referring to?
I saw the meme that Lamine posted about your next challenge in the Squid Game is to grade a PSA 1093. I already know that is impossible to get a PSA 10.
Yeah. So he had 4 pack fresh Jeters that he pulled.
Yeah.
And you can see the full video on Card Porn's page. Like Card Porn made like a 5-minute clip. 4 packed pulled Jeters. Christina and I just watched it before we went live. He got a BGS 9, a BGS 8, a PSA 6, and a PSA 7.
Yeah, that's about what I expected. Those are notoriously brutal. That's why the PSA 10 Jeter is worth it.
That's right.
It's also been sitting in a pack that who knows how long, like that box has been juggled around, moved, dropped. Like, you can't expect a PSA 10 from a 20-year-old box.
Yeah.
We'll see what Christina says when we open a box of Metal Universe basketball and they're all 5s and 6s. If it's the grader's fault, then
that might be
I'm happy with a 5 or 6 of those cards. Give me a break.
That's one of the common mistakes I hear from people coming into the hobby is like, I see all these crazy prices for PSA 10s. Why don't I just go to eBay, buy a raw, and grade it myself and make all that money? It's like, good. They're like,
not that easy.
I go, well, look at the pop report. How many PSA 10s are there? Well, there's only 4. And how many total graded? Like 100? So you think that, like, you're going to have better luck than all these other people that are getting 10s? Like, it doesn't work that way. It's not that easy.
No, totally. And, you know, also, like, this kind of rubbed me slightly the wrong way, kind of how that video played out and how people were responding to it. There's nothing wrong with a PSA 7 or a BGS 8 of an SP foil of Derek Jeter. You know, that's worth a couple $100 at least. There's nothing wrong with that card. So, like, I also, like, don't want to just, like, dump all over PSA 7s and BGS 8s and stuff. Like, those are still fine grades and highly collectible cards. Okay, Nick Uliano. What's up, Nick? Chris, will this be your first time in NYC? I forgot to mention this. Christina and I will be at Bleecker Trading for a trade night on Thursday, October 21st. That's in less than 7 days. That's in 6 days, 5 days. Wait, what day is October 21st?
Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday, October 21st. We'll be at Bleecker Trading. Bleecker is located here in, I suppose this would be Manhattan, lower Manhattan.
It's literally on Christopher Street.
It's on Christopher Street, so I appreciate them picking that street to host their business at. And
on their website.
96 Christopher Street, New York, Bleecker Trading. The shop looks really cool. They're hiring some people too. I don't know if they're still hiring or not, but I was looking around their website today and they're hiring some people. So we asked Carvin about working in the industry. There you go. Okay, they got cards. I can't wait to see the shop. I actually just want to show a picture of the shop. If I can just get back to the home page here. Okay. They got merch. So, like, this is part of the shop. This is like a social club that I believe is right next door. And they've got cards on the wall. I remember seeing a famous NFL quarterback sitting there not that long ago. So, yeah, Bleecker will be there. Christine and I used to live in Connecticut. So we definitely have been to New York plenty of times. But we will be there for one night only.
Shout out Metro North.
Shout out Metro North. A few drunken train rides on that before. Okay. Moving on.
And it brings you right to Yankee Stadium.
Yes, it does. Okay. Flippin' Hoops says, what's your thought process that goes into selecting which cards you want for your personal collection?
Oh, great question. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, my answer is different from yours. Kind of. I feel like we've answered this in different avenues, but mine is usually I'm focused on the intersection of rarity and historical significance of a card. So, like, for example, if it's a modern-ish player, I usually look for their RPA at a 99. I look for their gold refractor or gold prism rookie card, low number. And then from there, it's usually about rarity and trying to find, like, pieces that are hard to acquire that look aesthetically pleasing. So, like, and if it's a 2000s player, I'm looking for exquisite. If it's a 90s player, I'm looking for inserts and parallels, shiny, rubies, PMGs. If it's a modern player, I'm looking for contenders. I'm looking for cracked ice. I'm looking for gold prisms, black at 101s. I'm looking for RPAs, 99. You know, it's kind of like because we've seen so many cards, we know like which ones are historically significant. You learn like over time which ones are the cards that have kind of separated themselves from other sets because the sets are popular or because they are aesthetically pleasing. And so I usually try to stay in that simple lane. Chris, you do that, but you also kind of do a little bit more.
Yeah, there's a lot of great looking cards out there, but you also, like Josh said, you want to keep. I try to keep the historical importance of the set in mind as well. But there's two competing forces. Like the one force is like 50 years from now, 20 years from now, is anything really going to matter except for the gold prisms and NTRPAs? Like I always think about that. Like, is anything else really going to matter? But the other side of that coin is like, actually some of that stuff is priced so high right now that the gains being made in the markets of players like Trae Young or Luka in particular, they're happening in these like tertiary cards that are not in the mainstream because they're the only cheap stuff left that still bears the rookie designation. So like as the industry is expanding and it's expanding rapidly right now, as that process is happening, actually the cards that are showing the most interesting appreciation are cards like the 2016 Turkish EuroLeague Upper Deck Luka pattern rainbow foil PSA 10 and stuff like that. Like those are the ones that are showing the most appreciation for Luka cards over the last few months. So like that's the other side of that coin is like actually more obscure peripheral cards are at their markets are doing very well right now for highly established players. So
yeah, and the more correct answer is don't listen to us and research yourself and figure out what cards you like. Because the response, I'm thinking of Mission Street cards where he only focuses on extremely rare SSP cards from Panini. Like he's focused on like Galactic and I know he has other stuff that he's always talking about. It's like super SSP stuff, like Knights of the Round Table, like these really rare cards that not a lot of people have an appreciation for. It's kind of like the opposite of what we're saying, except for the rarity. So it's really about what you want to do, and like I would say start with like what looks aesthetically pleasing to you, because if you enjoy the card while you own it, you're more likely to kind of get the ball rolling and continue on.
Right on. Cars and Candy 911. Is this the first question from Cars and Candy tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. Is there a place to find out which player has more collectors? Is there a list somewhere that says this player has this many and this player has this many?
Collector ladder?
It's a great question, and the answer is no. You can try and infer from market pricing or observing activity on a showroom floor at a card shop or at a card show, but the answer is no. There isn't any place where this data is aggregated, but there would be ways to aggregate it potentially. Like if you could know how many Kobe Bryant cards have been posted to Instagram in the last year. And, so there's different ways that people could empirically get at it, but it wouldn't be easy. It would be a real chore. And I wonder if we could develop a way to answer that question too.
Yeah, Instagram would be the only platform I could see it being even remotely possible, is like figuring out how many people hashtag a certain player and a card related to that player. Not just like the player from the sport, but like the player and the card relation. And then maybe like, how many accounts are, dedicated to a certain player. But that's really hard because Instagram's search model isn't really meant for cards. It's almost like we need an Instagram specifically for cards where like the searching algorithms are focused on separating out by card, set, collector, player. Because that's one thing I wish you could do better on Instagram is like search for a specific card. Or like I would love to search for someone that has a certain type of card so I could ask them like, hey, where'd you get that? Do you know anyone else that has it? I'm looking to buy, et cetera. And it's really hard to find that.
Yeah, totally. Another good proxy is, which Christina just pointed out to me, is looking at the size of the collector Facebook groups. So yeah, Preston, that's kind of where I was thinking too, something like that. Allow card the option to share their collections publicly.
Frankly, like we could probably do a pretty decent job of it just with the data set that we have, but a lot of that's private. So we, like Preston said, we'd need people to give permission to display them publicly.
Totally. Okay. Fun question, though. 90s b-ball cards. A lot of people like this question, replying to my story when I reshared it. 90s b-ball cards, Jake said, what's the biggest hobby issue that we face right now? Shilling, trimming, misleading content, something else? But on the other hand, what is the brightest thing we are seeing in the hobby right now?
Do I have to answer the first one, or we're going to the brightest?
You can do whatever you want, man.
I mean, the other ones, whatever, all that stuff sucks. The bright spot, I would say, like, how many people, we've had a lot of people enter the hobby, which could go one of two ways. It can be where they come in and sort of like pillage us and then leave us hanging out to dry, or they could stay. And I would say the vast majority of people, at least from my perspective, that have joined over the last 2 years have stayed and really enjoyed the hobby. Because even at really high levels, like I'm thinking of Adam Lefko. He came in, was talking to Gary Vee about it, came in kind of on the financial aspect, and I feel like he's really stayed and made a place for himself in the hobby as content, but also like he's starting to appreciate the cards themselves and get a little bit deeper into it. I feel like there's a lot of that, not only at someone of Adam's level, but all the way on down and even higher up some of the more wealthy collectors. So I feel like that's the brightest spot for me.
Good. Yeah. Here I've got a way to sum up the negative spot very quickly. The greed. That's it. Greed is the common ingredient in all those equations. The trimming, the altering, the theft, the thievery. Just greed. The greed is the downside. And greed can show up in more insidious forms and less insidious forms, but it's the greed. That's the downside, and it's the community, and it's all the stuff that Josh pointed out that's the upside. So next question comes from Drake's PC. Drake says Tom Brady's card ladder, Tom Brady TB12, his card ladder player index is up 60% over the last 3 months. At what point is Tom Brady overvalued? And so I pulled up the Tom Brady player index on card ladder. We have player indexes like this on card ladder for over 1,500 players. And this is what Tom Brady's index looks like over last year. It's gone from being worth around 70,000 to about 523,000. All right. So his index has gone crazy. Card ladder's tracking 293 of his cards. And like Drake said, the quarterly change is over 60%. So Drake's question is, at what point does Tom Brady become overvalued?
This is a tough question, man, because clearly the people that own Tom Brady cards, I've seen this appreciation, are excited, and they're starting to say things like, he's getting some more respect. He's in the echelon of LeBron and Jordan and some of the GOATs, which he should be because he has 7 Super Bowl rings. Can't deny that. But I think at some point everyone is going to cross some line of like, all right, at this point I feel like they are overvalued. I'm not sure if we're there yet with Brady. I can't predict the future. I've said it several times, like if someone sees that much growth in such a short amount of time, it just always makes me a bit nervous that there's going to be some sort of big correction on them. I'm not sure if we're going to see it with Brady because he's still 44 years old and frankly, dominating the NFL. He's probably an MVP front runner, and I think he leads the NFL in passing yards, which is insane. So it's really tough to say one way or the other, but I would just say in general, I usually get nervous when something goes up that quickly.
Yeah. Yep. I don't have anything to add to that. But once again, congratulations to the Brady collectors who have been sticking it out for a long time, waiting for their player to be acknowledged. The market isn't just about the gains and the profit. The market is a proxy for sentiments. The market is a proxy for how people feel, and it's one way that they express which players they admire. And Tom Brady has been on a long path to admiration and to his ascent to get the respect that he has now. When we were doing the Sports Cards Culture episode earlier this week, a Tom Brady championship ticket contenders, we talked about this, a BGS 9 champ ticket Brady, once sold for under $5,000. That card is now worth about $5 million, roughly. That's an estimate. Okay, a card ladder value estimate. Roughly $5 million. Okay, so from $5,000 to $5 million, that's just a great story of hobby success. Brady is up 10x year over year, I probably won't be saying anything too crazy if I say Tom Brady is not going to 10x from this year to next year.
Yeah. I was going to also add that, like, Brady is not my favorite player in the NFL. Like, I've rooted against him for a long time. It's just, like, that's just the way it is. I just don't enjoy him that much as a player, and I know you guys like him, so, you know, I haven't really flaunted that too much. All I was going to say is, like, I completely respect what he's done in the NFL. I respect his collectors, more importantly, because it's been, like you said, it's been this really long process. It's been something that's been worked on for 2 decades. The guy has been dominating the NFL for 2 freaking decades, and his collectors have been slowly building this up to this point today where it's like it's taken a really long time versus something like Kaboom, which has come out of nowhere. It's just been pumped to an insane level over the last just like few months. There's no sustainability. There's no history to that. It's just been something that's come out of nowhere versus Tom Brady. You're talking about a really long period of time with sustained excellence. So I always respect something that's built up slowly over time and takes a lot of patience and effort versus something that, like, oh, I can just freaking go on a marketing campaign and 10x my money just because of my pumping abilities. There's a big difference.
Well said. Long Island Sports Card, so we hope to see next week, says, will Bitcoin's surge, I didn't know that Bitcoin had been on this crazy surge last few days. Will Bitcoin surge translate into extra money flowing into sports cards? So I went and I pulled up the chart. Bitcoin is over 61,000, almost at 62,000. Okay, so Bitcoin was way down just two to 3 months ago. It was at around 30,000. So it had been cut in half from 2 or 3 months before that, and now it's back up. It's back up to 62,000. That must be near an all-time high, if it isn't an all-time high. So will this bull run of Bitcoin lead to people spending more money on sports cards?
You know how I know Bitcoin isn't ready for the big leagues yet? Because people still look at Bitcoin as this thing of like, oh, you made money, time to cash in and buy the thing you really want. When the thing you really want is like actual confidence in real money. Like, people are like, I'm going to cash it in for money. I thought it is money. Aren't you supposed to be cashing in whatever it is for Bitcoin? Like, isn't that the end game if your goal is to like make money? That's a little side rant that I find silly, that like the conversations around cash in your Bitcoin gains. Like, I thought that is the money. Like, you're cashing in your money for money? It is money. You just hold it.
You're telling me it's not a currency? It's some sort of weird investment vehicle?
Maybe I'm just an idiot. But to answer the question, yes, I hope so. I hope people take their money out of that craziness and buy some cool stuff like cards.
Oh, I like what Bleecker says. All roads lead to cards. All my roads lead to cards. Okay.
My Honda Civic only goes down that one road. It's not really good at turning, and this, it's pretty slow. So I just kind of stick to the simple road.
No doubt. All right. That's a nice thing about cards too. That's sort of like implied there is cards are an end game. Cards are not, well, not for all of us. There are dealers, there are flippers. Sure. But for me, I'll speak for myself. Cards are an end game. They are the target. They are the object of the activities. Getting the best cards, putting together a great collection.
Whose car would get more meme activity and laughter? Yours or mine?
Mine.
Yeah, I think so. I don't even. The orange really puts you guys over the top. I need to fucking paint my car like yellow or something.
It's also like it's the shape of the car as well.
Yeah.
Because it's like kind of like a clown car. Like, it's kind of ridiculous.
I think like Honda Civics are like pretty respected. Like, used Honda Civics are pretty a respected car. Like, a lot of people know.
I used to know a guy whose dream car was a Honda Civic, actually. So
that's a guy I'd like to be friends with.
I mean, my car was my dream car when I was 19 and I bought it. Does that count?
Yeah.
What was that?
She wanted an orange box of a car.
Well, no.
Isn't it your guys' car's a Honda, right?
Yeah, Honda Element.
Here, I'll show you.
Honda is a car of the people.
Yeah.
and it's well made. The Honda cards are well made.
The first one that shows up is the orange one.
I know the car has to be
It's
orange.
a 2007.
Did you go to the dealership and you're like, I'm fucking leaving with an orange car. I don't care what they say.
No, I wanted a champagne color one, but I had a this is gonna like date me. I had an orange cell phone at the time, and my brother called me while I was at the dealership to be like, "How's it going?" And
Here,
I picked
talk.
up the
Good enough talk.
I picked up
Oh,
the phone.
She doesn't want to go on.
I picked up the phone, and the dealer saw that my phone was orange and was like, "I have the perfect car for you." And then they couldn't sell it, so they gave me a discount on it, and I was like, "I'll take it."
Still chugging along to this day.
I got a couple DMs about, the LeBron sale, and they're like, "Are you gonna buy a car?" And I was like, "No, I literally would rather have my car." And they're like, "Yeah, but treat yourself, get something nicer." And I said the comment. This is my comment. I get off on having a really shitty car. Like I get more. It's like I can brag more with the shittier my car is, if that makes sense.
Right, it does, man. Makes complete sense.
Your guys' post to this day is my favorite post of the year. Like the way you angled the picture, like you made it look like a really nice car trader ad picture. Oh, it was so good. I was dying.
Christina, we showed the Honda Element orange, and we lost like 20 people off the live immediately. All right.
A sports card.
This is the people drive this. This is what I've been listening to for the last year. Okay.
I've been listening to investment advice from these fucking guys. These guys are idiots. They're driving pieces of shit.
I hate both of you. It's not even your fucking car.
Yeah, but I drive it a lot. And then when I pull up and hop out of that car, I think it softens my image. Let's just say that.
Yeah, you're very non-threatening when you get out of that thing.
Yeah, nobody is worried about me. They might be worried about me, but not out of fear.
Your mental state.
Yeah. All right, corner taken quickly says, what is an appropriate finder's fee? How do you figure out what a finder's fee should be?
Yeah. I think a finder's fee is an underrated aspect of the hobby, and I plan to use that tool a lot in the next few weeks. So look out for that. Because cards get hard to find, and I would just if you find one, there's value in that. And if you can help me land a really sweet card, I think you should be paid for it. Honestly, I think it's worth it's time is money, as they say. So, I wish there was a magic formula, like a percentage of a thing. I'm thinking when I usually buy a card if there's a finder's fee on a card that's worth a few grand, let's say $3,000 to $5,000. I was thinking $100 to $200, something around there. So maybe use that as an informal napkin math for something. If it's a $100 card, maybe $5-10, some sort of percentage of what the value. With a cap, if you help me find a $100,000 card, I'm probably not going to give you 10 grand or something.
No, probably not. Yeah, the finder's fee is whatever it takes to get people to do what you want them to do. It can change. It can be a moving goalpost. Sometimes, it not only depends upon the value of the card, it depends on how hard the card is to find. That's going to impact how much you're willing to cut in somebody on a finder's fee as well. But be generous with finder's fees.
You should. Absolutely.
You should be generous with those.
I gave Kyle a small finder's fee because I was looking frantically for that freaking Ultra Stars gold penny, and he found one. I was like, I'm going to pay you for this. It seems like a pretty simple concept.
Definitely. Collectibles Cards Clutter says, how do you go about bringing up the topic of a finder's fee and asking about receiving it?
Oh, God. It really sucks that you would have to ask somebody. You're talking about the person who connects the card?
Yeah.
That's happened to me a lot, where I feel like I do something pretty nice and I don't get anything in return. So I know what you're talking about. I don't know. I probably just lean on the side of not saying anything. It just seems like a little bit bad taste to be like, hey, also pay me for that. Yeah.
It's a very difficult topic to bring up, but I would say if you're looking to, if your main object is to do work, you know, and get paid for that work, you're not doing it for fun or to help somebody, you know, if you're literally, you know, putting your time into it to make money, just arrange it up front. And the way to raise the topic is just to make the other party aware of the fact that your time is valuable too. So look, you know, it's probably going to take me a couple of days of looking for this. I'm going to have to dig under some rocks and stuff. And like, I'm happy to do it, but my time's valuable too, you know? And so, you know, hopefully it's okay with you if we come up with some sort of arrangement that fairly compensates me for the time I have to put in.
Yeah, I think we're seeing this a lot more with like current NBA players or really athletes of all sports, where they're really serious about like, I'm going to be getting mine, and they should. I think that's an important thing because for the longest time, like it's been the owners are the ones that are cashing in the most on all these things, and the players are realizing like this whole business runs on us. We are the entertainment. We're the ones people come to see. We should be valuing ourselves, and I think the same thing applies to anything. If you're really good at something and you have value, you should be getting that value.
Agreed. And Carvin, you know, says a great sentiment. I think a lot of us in the hobby take, and he definitely takes it. And this is his approach. I see it every day. You know, help people without pay. And if they do pay, be grateful. So lean into people's generosity. People's generosity will surprise you from time to time. And sometimes people don't mean any harm. They just are not thinking about it. So that's why sometimes you do have to kind of nudge people, but it's very difficult. It's awkward.
Plus, like sending me a link to an eBay auction is not a finder's fee, just to be clear.
Josh is going to get 20 invoices tomorrow morning.
People send me like eBay links. I'm like, yeah, I know.
All right. In Cardboard Veritas says, with all of the focus on high-end cards, how do new collectors who are buying cards for less than $200, how do they do well in this current space? And, you know, this is a real issue, right? Because it was not that long ago, a year and a half ago, when it was the base card mania was running the show. Prism base, Topps Chrome base, Donruss paper base, all types of base cards were really running the show. And now that's completely flipped. So like, whereas the Zion Prism base hasn't moved in months, his RPA is going to the moon. All the appreciation is now accumulating in the high-end items. So how do people come in at low entry points when all of the energy seems to be geared towards high-end cards?
This is the toughest question that exists in the hobby right now, in my opinion, because you and I really want to get people excited about coming into the hobby and show them where they can land and how they can have fun with it. But the hardest part is like, yeah, but I don't have $50,000 or I don't have $10,000 or I don't have $1,000. And it's really, really hard. I would say like, first of all, doing well doesn't necessarily mean that you have to like 5x your money in a year. I would say doing well can mean that you're having fun and you're finding something that you're passionate about and some sort of niche of the hobby that's maybe not as obvious to others. You know, finding some sort of set or player or something that's a little bit underappreciated that you feel 10 years from now might see some appreciation and might see some value. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because if you think about people that collected in 2008, 2012, they've had to wait 10 plus years to see any real value appreciation. So I think we might be getting to a point where you're going to have to like get into that mindset. Like I might not see something in the next year. I might have to think 10 years down the road, and it's a really tough pill to swallow because of all the people that have had such great success in the last few years and have made such large amounts of money and financial gain with their cards. So I would say like just reset your expectation of what is reasonable and possible in terms of, you know, doubling your money in a year, and maybe lower those expectations just a little bit in the current market and know that there's still opportunity and it still could be fun.
Yeah, agree. I'll just like double down on your point about the way that they do well is by enjoying the hobby. Enjoy it, have fun. And like, as you do that, especially if you really lean into the social aspect and the community aspect, you're going to find pockets of opportunity. If you're really concerned about like market value going up and stuff like that, you're going to find pockets of opportunity because you're just going to see how people think, and you're going to be able to kind of be ahead of certain trends or whatever. But just have fun. If you look at the hobby as an outlet to have fun, and building a collection is something that is, you know, an expression, a creative expression, and a way to build relationships and like enjoy sports on a whole different level. Because look, there will always be prospects. You know, if somebody really wants to just get their, as my friend Big Rang says, get their lactic acids flowing, gamble on some young prospects. There's a few are going to break out every year. So if that's what you want the potential of a 10X, that's always going to be there in the hobby. But that's not the heart of the hobby to me. The heart of the hobby to me is the collecting journey. And the hobby is silly, and it shouldn't be so serious. You know, that's the hobby is a silly, childish, fun thing that we do that makes life better. So that's the mindset, right?
Yeah. And, you know, I kind of went on my little explanation of like how I think about things financially, and how I believe that people value things too much in society, and the immediate response is like, well, aren't you spending all this money on cards? Aren't those things? And the difference is that like the cards, if you're gonna like get into cards and you're not gonna be doubling your money, I would hope that some of the stuff that you buy just holds its value. I think there's a ton of value in you buying something that you enjoy and are having fun with that just stays that same value. If you're looking at your Christian McCaffrey collection, for example, and if you were able to sell it for exactly what you paid for, you got a year's enjoyment out of something. You had fun, you hunted all this stuff, and you didn't lose any money, versus if you had bought a car, or you'd bought a fucking stereo system, or a freaking like expensive vacation that you didn't need, or, you know, like there's these things that so many people in this country go and buy and waste their money on that have no value for them in the future. Whereas sports cards and even the stuff that, like, you know, people might say that Christian McCaffrey thing was a bad idea. You're going to lose money. It's running backs. They never work out. If you break even on it, and you had, like I said, if you had a year's worth of entertainment out of it, and you didn't lose a single dime, you basically like kept it in cash. It's the equivalent of like keeping your money in cash for a year, which is like not the worst thing in the world. You're saving your money.
Totally. I agree. I think if you break even on a card, you did great. If you keep that mentality, you know, you set the bar appropriately for enjoyment of the hobby, because you do profit in so many other ways. You know, the hobby and the enjoyment of the hobby is a recreational outlet, is something fun. That has to be the profit center. You have to enjoy this community, enjoy it as a way to spend your leisure time. That's where the real profit is in this industry. You know, I don't want to be too off-putting, but I feel like I can't even really relate to people who got into sports cards because they saw it as like a way to make a bunch of money. Like, I don't understand that. Like, you have this whole world as your oyster. There's so many professions and careers and investment opportunities in the world that, like, sports cards that's not the end all be all of sports cards. The end all be all is community, sports fandom, recreation, leisure, connection to history and sports, something light, simple, fun, but very complicated, intellectually stimulating. You know, that's how I see the industry and the hobby. So
sure.
That's going to resonate with 50%, and other 50% would be like, you're crazy. You know, this is not how other people see it. So,
and the other argument of like, this is always the reaction is like, oh, what about inflation? I would say that, like, in general, the best tool an individual has towards saving for their financial future and their own security is to not spend money. And even if that means you take your money and put it into a boring old checking account, or you put it into fucking gold or some savings account that makes you 0.01%, I would rather you do that than go buy a fucking car. Like, that's just my financial outtake on things, is like the the financial muscle that you build of like saving your money and not spending it on shit to impress other people, or like because you think you need something in your life, is the most powerful piece towards your own success in the future. And if buying a card brings you happiness and it can also maintain that value over time, I think that's a win-win.
Yeah. Right on.
I guarantee you 0% savings or interest, like return on investment on something, is a lot better than going and gambling it away or buying a card. So like I'd rather have 0% and lose on inflation 2% a year than I would fucking spending it on some bullshit thing.
No doubt. All right. This is a long question, but it actually asks a pretty simple concept that's very interesting. Schmo50 says, question about obtaining rare cards of a rookie. A lot of times when a product first comes out, the rare cards of the player you're trying to get, they're available because people are breaking it and they want to recoup or make a profit on the product that they bought into. And so on the flip side, however, like I said, those prices are normally inflated, is the demand for new product aside. But on the flip side, as time goes by, the prices come down, but the cards do not seem to be available anymore. They're much, much harder to find. So what are your thoughts? Is it better to wait and try to find that card well after the release? Or is it better to buy it at the start when the card is available but might be more expensive?
Dude, this is a great fucking question. Who asked this question?
Schmo50.
It's a fucking fantastic question, because I was thinking this last week, it's like I'm having a really hard time finding more Chris Paul cards, and I'm like, how could I possibly have gotten XYZ card? And I'm like, the only fucking way is if I had bought it right when it came out, because a lot of these cards are just like buried in people's collections that they bought it at release and they haven't let it go since. That's kind of the spirit of this question, right?
Yes.
So I think there's some sort of like sweet spot to this where it's like, it's not right at release when the prices are highest. It's probably like a few months after that when people give up on it and they like move to the next product, and it's still pretty fresh. So I think that's kind of the sweet spot. But definitely, this is a great topic because like you and I always talk about being careful prospecting, buying rookies. But if you actually want to have the best PC of someone, you're proving us wrong with your Christian McCaffrey PC, you fucker. But like in general, the only way to actually do it is to go all in ham on a guy right at release.
Yeah, you have to, dude. I love the design of 2020 Prism, and right when 2020 Prism football came out, I wanted to get a gold, straight up out of 10 gold Mahomes base, but they were popping up on eBay and they were going for like $4,000. And I was like, that's just too high. That's just too high. I know that this card is worth half of that when the hype dies off from the set, but they all got bought up. And like Spinotron showed a little bit of insight into how that works, because like he, I guess, maybe picked up like 4 of the Brady's or the Mahomes golds from 2020 Prism. Like there's people out there who are just like picking off these cards, and they will overpay to get them at release, especially if it's something that's going to be like super highly desired. And I turned out to be wrong. I thought like the value of this card would come down. Eventually one will come out and it'll be cheaper, and that just never happened. It just went the other direction. So that can always happen too. It's not always a guarantee that you'll be able to get it cheaper later. Usually, but not.
Well, who are you getting these like black prisms from?
The first one I got was from Fifth Down, Andy, because he and I were talking McCaffrey. I started looking at his page. He was actually asking me what I thought a certain black prism card might be worth, and then that led to me asking him about McCaffrey, and he was like, dude, tell me. He's such a great guy. He was like, just whatever's fair, we'll do it. I got it. And then a different collector, Bryant, Great 143, when I posted that I got the 19 McCaffrey black from Andy, then Brian hit me up and he was like, oh, I have the 2020. If you want it, just pay me what you paid Andy. And I don't even know what you paid him. Just whatever you paid him, that's fair. So
you got fucking lucky.
I got super lucky. To get the 19 and the 20, got super lucky.
You got them from like big time collect. The problem is when you find someone who's like, dude, I've been buying Christian McCaffrey since release. Fuck you. I've been putting in 3 years of work. Here you come with your money. You think you just buy my Black Prisms?
Yes. Well, so then I got to the 18. That to get the 18 was harder. So like I had to track it down through several Facebook avenues, and like I came up on dead ends 2 or 3 times, and then I finally got put in touch with the guy who had it. And the guy has the whole rainbow, the whole McCaffrey rainbow 2018 Prism sitting in a ComC account unlisted, just sitting there. So like this stuff is tucked way away. And so I started going back and forth negotiating with them, and we finally settle on a strong price, and I buy it. So I had to pay strong, and then it ships to me from a ComC account. Now the 17, now that's the situation that you're describing, where the card was obtained for dirt cheap, and it's been with the collector now for a long time, and it just there almost seems to be no amount of money that will activate this guy to sell it. He doesn't need the money. He doesn't need to sell it. So I'm kind of at wit's end with how to pry that one out, and I really need that one. You know, I need that one bad. That's a crown jewel.
You know how I don't like one of ones as nearly as much as you, and the reason I don't like it is because I feel like I have no control over my ability to acquire that card. It's like, it's a one of fucking one. What am I supposed to do? Like, if someone has it that doesn't want to sell it, like, am I supposed to, like, you know, deem myself a failure that I can't get this person's card? It's just like a very out of my control situation that I don't enjoy.
Yes, we are failures until we get the card that we need, and then we just
no, like to a certain extent, it's like someone's gonna like. I bet you every other person that looks at your 3 Black Prisms is gonna be like, "Where's the 17?"
Yeah, I know. That's all I see when I look at them.
And you're like, what am I? You know, like I can't fucking make this person sell to me.
I know. Well, okay. So then all right. This guy, does anybody in the chat follow this guy? Because this guy has a different McCaffrey that I need as well. This guy, Jordan Pennington 1, Jordan_Pennington 1.
Just fucking pull up last
cards. I've been waiting for a month for this guy to approve my request. He has the field level black 1 of 1 McCaffrey, the 2017 select field level black 1 of 1 McCaffrey. Anybody who knows this guy, if you know Jordan Pennington, go buy the card from him and flip it to me for double. I don't care. But I'm desperately trying to pry out the field level black 1 of 1 McCaffrey. This guy has it. He won't accept my freaking friend request. He won't look at my messages. So whoever knows, there are 500 people following him. So somebody who knows him, get his attention, either send him to me or just flip the card to me. I don't care.
I am not paying double what someone
and Christina's gonna help me afford the card. Christina's gonna chip in to pay your fine.
This whole all the content that you and I create, the crossover, SEC, even Card Ladder, it's all just a front to like expand our platform to help us find cards. It's like a reverse money laundering scheme.
The money spending scheme.
Exactly. It's like we don't want to have this to help us clean our money. We want it to make our money dirty and spend more of it.
Yeah, that you can tell. Like I'm at a point where
you should be, man, because it's like I said this earlier. It's kind of a joke, but like a little bit of your self-worth is tied up in like, do you have everything or do you not?
Totally. Yeah, dude. I just shoot it straight. My CMAC PC will be a failure if I don't get that 17 black 1 of 1 from Prism. It just will be. There's no other way.
You're just a guy with a bunch of random CMAC cards.
I'm just an idiot with a bunch of complimentary pieces, but not.
You know that you know that running backs are a bad investment, right? Did no one tell you that when you started this PC? I feel like you should know.
Is the existence of me not like proving that false? Some guy out there is sitting with the McCaffrey that he could 50x on right now if he would just sell it to me. Okay, so let's make the exception the rule and sell me the damn card.
Yeah, if he doesn't sell it to you, then he's going to be selling it for less to someone else in the future.
That's what I hope. I hope he's received an offer from me. I hope he's asking around and he's like, oh man, I'm not going to be like anywhere close to this.
People ask me this in DMs. They're like, this guy's been really, really hounding me for this card. He really wants it. should I sell it to him? And I'm like, in general, if you are like unsure in this scenario, like I would usually suggest you sell it to them because it's really you're probably not going to find someone this desperate to like buy this one thing from you in the future. So like, if you want to take your money and do it, like now's the time.
Oh boy!
And you're on the other end of that. You're just like on the street corner begging for C-Max.
Okay, somebody asked to see the name again. No problem. Jordan_Pennington1. And this guy's in the hobby, right? Like he's the owner, Best of 7 Sports Cards and Collectibles. He's a veteran. Thank him for his service. And let me thank you for your service, sir.
With my money.
By taking this card off of your hands.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. What's up?
Good work. Go to the next question.
Next question.
I'm just getting warmed up over here.
This poor guy's gonna get 10 messages tomorrow.
Well, the first hour of the show was no questions, so I need 2 hours of questions. So let's go.
Let's go. 2 hours of questions. Okay.
Christina just rolled her eyes.
Corner Taken quickly wants to know, what is the value of Nat Turner's collection?
Ooh.
Somebody should try to answer this. Like somebody should
go
through his Flickr.
If you would stop flapping your meat gums.
But you can't answer this question.
Yes, I can.
You can ballpark it, but
someone asked me a fucking math question earlier, and you were like, "Oh, math, like number." I was like, "No, I'm gonna answer this fucking question. Hold on." Your meat gums, you're flapping around. God. Nat's gonna be like, it's easily double that tomorrow. He's gonna text me. Easily double, like $100 million.
I think that's low.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Fine. 250 million.
I think he probably has that amount in basketball cards alone.
I asked him if cards were his best like ROI on anything he's done, since he's like got a lot of other stuff going on. He was like, I mean, on the whole, probably not, because I have a lot of weird like random players. But like if you talk about like my Jordan, LeBron, Kobe stuff, like definitely.
He probably has 100 million in LeBron cards.
I was thinking about Bob M-Track, and it's like, ugh, a lot of money.
Yeah.
The problem is like, who is going to ingest that much? Like, are you reasonably going to be able to sell all of that for a certain amount? Like, it's really hard to just say like, yeah, send it to Golden. Fucking, it's like, there's no way.
That's a different question. Market value versus what if he wanted to liquidate it all tomorrow. But somebody can answer that question. If they had a bunch of free time, go through his Flickr accounts and just price them all out. I would take any odds. It's over $100 million. I'd take any odds.
10 to 1.
I'll take it.
Okay, next question.
Okay. This comes from Hot Sauce Sports Cards. At what number does a PSA graded card stop being considered low population?
Well, the shitty answer is that it depends on the card, because it depends on the overall population, but it's more about the ratio.
Yeah.
Than it is the actual like quantitative number. But like, if again, I want to put a freaking number on this because I want to be the guy that puts numbers on these questions, these answers. 20.
That's going to make some people petrified. There's some people who think 2000 is a low pop.
What? What the fuck? What?
2003 Topps Chrome LeBron, PSA 10.
That's that card is like so out of my purview of like anything I would ever care about, that yeah, it's because the pop is insanely high. People are like, oh my God, how did you get that card? There's like 1 million of them. That's how. It's easy. There's tons of them.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you would get dramatically different answers to this question depending upon who you ask. That's what makes it a really interesting question.
What's yours?
If we're talking Jordan 90s inserts,
We're not.
100. If we're talking
total pop or pop or like one single grade?
10, like I'm assuming this means like Gem Mint, BGS 9.5 or PSA 10.
100?
Yeah.
There's not even 100 copies of a lot of these cards.
Like that's what I think. Like some Jordan guys would say no, it's more like 25 or 50. But to me, a Jordan insert gem pop of less than 100 is low pop for me.
I would listen to you on that. You know all these weird things like that.
Yeah. For an RPA, I don't know. Like it really depends on the card.
I love finding cards where it's like a really good Hall of Fame player and it's like a cool set, and you go look up the pop and it's like 3? Oh, sweet. Like nobody has this fucking card but me.
There's more vintage cards, like especially like basketball and soccer and football. Like there's a lot that fit that mold that you wouldn't even think. Like here, I'll give you an example. One card that we just added to Card Ladder today. Thurman Thomas Pro Set PSA 10. So let's just do a game here. What do you think the population is of this card? Oh shit, I just showed it.
I didn't see it.
Okay.
I didn't see it. 89. Fuck.
It looks like a very high pop card, doesn't it?
It does. I was gonna say like 200 or something.
Okay, 133. To me, that's a low pop card.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
low pop.
Like,
A 1989.
Yeah, because like the Barry Sanders of that stuff is like the pop is so insanely high that like contextually what you're saying makes sense.
Yeah. So Barry Sanders Pro Set PSA 10. Okay, here we go.
Like 5,000 or something.
Yeah, 2,300.
Jesus Christ.
Let's see how much that's grown. Yeah, and look, that pop has been growing, right? Like
how much of that is just like, people don't grade Thurman Thomas cards. Like I'd probably bet my like left arm that all of your CMAC cards are less than pop 10.
Yeah, most of them are 101.
Well, I mean, like, just even if you pick a random, like, they're all just super low pop.
Yeah, I think the highest print run CMC that we have is the 2 NT RPAs, which are 99. And I don't know what the pops are, but they're not big. Those don't grade well. And then after that, it would be the cracked ice out of 25. And then everything from there is golds, but mostly 101s.
God, my CB3 collection, I've got all these, like, out of 50s, and I feel like a fucking moron. You're like, 50? God, dude, like, 50? That's so easy to get, you idiot. Yeah, you're like, the gold chrome that I got tonight, 50? Oh, my God, 50.
You got that red, though, out of 5, right? That's a badass
one. I know, I bought that just to impress you.
I was impressed, too. And it's a PSA 10, like.
It's a nice card.
It's a nice card. It does impress me a lot.
Dude, as I said earlier, I buy things to impress other people.
That's the real heart of the hobby right there, if we really want to look deep.
Yeah, it's not greed. You said greed. It's not greed. It's look at
pride.
Look at this pixelated picture of this head. That's when you really break it down. It's like, I don't care about the money that's worth. It's like you want to look at this picture of this head.
Wow. We made it over 2 hours.
Or this frog, or this like line.
There it is. The NFT reference has the.
Wait, how did you? I didn't say NFT. I could have meant artwork or something.
All right, here's a good like end of the show question. 610 sports cards.
Yes. Oh, I already know. This is so good. Him and I were doing this, so like I'm cheating. I already have some answers, but go ahead.
Good. Look, this would be tough to do off the top.
You haven't watched the show, so like you fucking have nothing.
I have nothing. After several Trulies, have Josh assign Squid Game characters to their hobby count.
I have so many good memes. Like, Lamine is just leaving a lot of these on the floor, and I can help him.
Okay.
My best one. This is so good.
This is going to
For
be
anyone
nothing
to
to
watch.
me, by the way, so enjoy this, chat.
Okay, well, I'll give you some context. There's a character who is like, do you know anything about the show? Do you know like the premise of the show at all?
I've heard it's like Hunger Games.
There you go. So like these people are fighting to win a prize, and if you don't win, you die, right? So it's like it's pretty high stakes. And one of the characters is like he's like a thug, or he's seen as like the villain, the bad guy of the group, and he's like, I'll cheat, I'll do whatever it takes to win this game. And then there's a female character that is like attempting to kind of like glob onto him and like use him to get to the finals and like seduce him. And then he turns on her, so she's like, she's like gonna fucking kill this guy. She's like, I'm out to get the revenge on this dude. And so I have dubbed the thug character as any scammer in the hobby. So it could be like a shiller, it could be a trimmer, it could be, any douchebag in the hobby. And then the female is card porn. They're like grabbing onto them. I want to be associated with it, but I also want to take them down. I want the glory of taking them down.
Ah, very good. Very good. I get it.
And Justin said that Chris, you and I get like all the way to the end. He's like, he dubbed you and me as like characters that make it to the end. So I was like, you know what? I like that analogy, but I'm not going to go so far as to say I'm the main character. I don't want to do that.
Well, it wouldn't have been fruitful for Justin to tell us that we would be ones who die first, because then we wouldn't read his question. So maybe Justin is the one who makes it all the way to the end.
He gave himself the role of the person who gave themselves up. Am I allowed to do spoilers? I don't know the rules on spoilers. Is that a thing? Are you going to watch this show? Do I need to not say it?
Probably not.
Well, there's like
hasn't started Silicon Valley yet, Josh. Like, the chance of us watching this are pretty slim.
And I'm not trying to watch a foreign language film, Call me a symbol. I just don't.
Know your lane, Chris. And you definitely know your lane.
Stay in my lane.
There's like these two female characters that become friends, and it's like apparent that one of them has to die. So Justin is like, he's like, I'm the one that gave themselves up for the other to survive. It's like, wow, give yourself like the noble character that.
Yeah. I think the most fun way to do this game is not for public consumption, because it'd be way more fun to shit on people through these comparisons.
Can we be like the people who organize the game? Like, why do we have to be players in the game?
This is Christina. Who's the character in the show who just like refuses to play by the rules?
Me.
And steps back
Me.
and just says, I'm going to control the whole damn thing.
Me.
And that's whoever that character is. That's Christina.
Well, we definitely were like, Justin and I were chatting and like assigning people in the hobby to like characters that weren't players, and they were like controlling the game. But like, again, it takes to like, you have to understand the story of it. So it's just not as much fun unless you know all the ins and outs of it. And it has to be like, you can only play this game in a room of people that don't want it spoiled and know the show in and out. It's just like, it's a little bit tough. Like Office, there's not much spoiling going on, and everyone's seen the show. It's just an easy game to play.
True that. We haven't gotten as many hearts as we're getting right. Is that you sending all those hearts?
No, my hearts aren't working tonight.
Oh, no.
Okay, who's the old guy? At least you know the old guy character, right? You've seen the memes of him just like sitting there squatting.
Yeah.
Like sitting in a
Who's
slide or something?
Who's the old guy where it's like the game is clearly leaning towards people that are more, physically fit, and here's this old guy that's sort of like, crap, I'm screwed, I'm playing this game, I'm going to die? What is that character?
The collectors of the hobby.
There you go. It's like set collectors or player collectors.
Shine is the old guy? Oh, Nat Turner or Michael Rubin are the old guys? Okay.
Now they're giving spoilers, Chris. You gotta...
Yeah, that seems like a huge spoiler.
Old
guy sounds awesome. Okay,
The collectors, It seems like the collectors is a good answer, but if you watch the show, it's actually a terrible answer. The chat knows more than you guys.
Well, obviously, we haven't watched a fucking second of it.
Well, if you guys would just give in to fucking public, like whatever, public pressures of like watching a show, then you would have watched it by now. But clearly you don't.
Pressure.
Well,
okay.
Well, Josh, would you rather have us spend 10 hours watching this or working 10
Christina,
hours?
Christina, you're taking a fun idea way too seriously. All right. Nick's basketball PC Nick asked me where was his question. Nick, your question was literally the next one queued up, and then I just went to Justin's. Like, we'll end on Nick's question. I hope Nick's still here. Christina's taking to the chat.
She's like, well, I'm busy working, you motherfucker.
All right.
Like, she's not allowed to have fun. I get it.
Nick's basketball PC wants to know, Michael Jordan is the hobby GOAT, but will a Michael Jordan card ever hold the record for the highest card sale ever? Would a green PMG PSA 10 break the record? What card would need to exist to break it?
Yeah, I've heard this question come up in various forms of like, why isn't Michael Jordan? It's really not the fault of Michael Jordan. It's just it literally all boils down to the fact that his rookie cards suck.
Yep.
That's it. That's the only thing that has anything to do with this. If Michael Jordan had an RPA at a 23 and a BGS 9.5, I guarantee you it would fucking clobber the LeBron RPA at a 23. Guaranteed. So like, it's really just a matter of like the hobby history dictating what's happening versus Michael Jordan himself.
Yeah, and that is a tough concept for, I think, especially like people who don't follow the hobby and know its history. Why is Honus Wagner the most expensive card? That makes no sense. That makes no sense. Why, how does that come to pass? It's just going to be that way. There's the supply and demand, or as Ricky of Trailer Park Boys would say, supply and command matter a lot. Have you watched Trailer Park Boys?
Mm-mm.
Oh, nice. I got that one on you. Don't ever watch
that.
That's the one I got on you.
That and Frasier.
You've never watched Frasier?
No, fuck that show.
Man. Okay, well.
My parents watch that show. Does that make you feel better?
Yes. Yes, it does. Your parents have good taste. See, I hear this, all right? Honus Wagner is one of the best baseball players to ever live. Then why is he never, ever mentioned ever when I'm watching MLB Tonight, or I'm watching ESPN, or I'm listening to guys on podcasts talking about the best baseball players, and I never hear anybody bring up Honus Wagner? Why? Are these guys all ignoramuses? They don't know anything about baseball? Because if that's the case, fine. I shouldn't be deferring to them because I am nowhere near a baseball expert. I played it as a kid. I played pitcher. I played third base. I like baseball. I watch the game. Okay? But I'm no expert on who the best is. But I never hear Honus Wagner mentioned.
Yeah. It's clearly about the card. It's not about the player. It's more about the card than the player.
Okay. Yeah. One of the best players to ever live. Like, what, is he top 5? Is he top 10?
Okay, so like,
what's up, Julie?
If we're talking about that, then like, does Tim Duncan have the most expensive basketball card of all time? Because he's top 10. If he's one of the best, no, not even close. It's contextual, right? There's a lot more factors at play than just looking at the player. It's just like, so because of that, people try to make, his PMG is his rookie card. It's his best card of all time. That should be more expensive than a LeBron rookie. It's just that, like, you can't just like break the rules of hobby to, bend in the favor of like what you want it to be happening just because of the player you collect. Like, it doesn't work that way. There's a lot more factors.
True. Okay. And Dirty Vegan, I hear what you're saying. So maybe the best pre-Babe Ruth player. Okay. I'll bear that in mind.
He also has like amazing fucking story where like that card is actually rare and all the other players aren't, and he happened to be the best player in that set. That's a great story. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It should be worth a lot more money because of all the things that lined up perfectly. The fact that he's much older, it's a much older card. These things make sense to me.
We have Honus Wagner cards and card ladder. This Honus
Finally
Wagner cracks me all the way up. This might be the Honus Wagner card I need to get. The 1948 Leaf Honus.
What the fuck? Is he a coach?
Yeah, this is a coach card.
Is he eating?
They told him to smile in the picture?
I think he's chewing tobacco. You know, there's the big story is that he disapproved of tobacco, but like I've read in certain, like I think Cardboard Connection points out that might actually it's not clear that that's actually the reason why his cards were not manufactured. It might have been like a licensing issue.
He wanted money.
He wanted more money.
I was gonna say it sounds like a greed issue.
Correct.
But
Dude, that card looks photoshopped.
They didn't have Photoshop in 1948.
Well, I know, but it looks like someone took like a 1948 card and photoshopped like.
Yeah. Dude, these cards.
Wait, his name isn't.
It's a cool looking card.
His name is John?
John Wagner.
I thought it was Honus.
Honus Wagner.
Oh, which is it?
I don't know. We have a dispute on our hands.
See, this is what happens when you try to talk baseball in the crossover. You get fucking embarrassed.
Yeah, we always end up with mud on our face.
We're just like, Honus Wagner, did he play baseball or?
What's his name,
Probably.
actually?
Yeah, we don't even.
Oh, boy. All right. Nick, thank you for that question. We read your question, buddy. I saw somebody say in the chat, best crossover ever. It's up there. It's up there.
People got to hear my rant on, like, don't ever spend another dime or I'm going to criticize you. So people probably enjoyed that.
I'm sure there was a lot to enjoy. We went over a ton of stuff. We had the great Carvin on here. Johannes Peter Honus Wagner. How do you
There you
get
go,
the
Sydney.
Johannes Honus. Got it.
Don't all those guys, yeah, that makes sense. But don't those older guys, like, all have cool nicknames, like, you know, Three-Fingered Joe and Shoeless Joe and
Three-Fingered
fucking-
Joe. That
they all have, like, crazy little weird nicknames like that back in those, like,
Yeah.
the aughts.
Shoeless Joe.
But there's more of, there's, like, a bunch of weirdo ones like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was this Joe like the place where we had
In Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, it's named after Shoeless Joe.
wait, Shoeless Joe's a real perk. Okay, I'm gonna stop. Okay.
That's from that movie with the, you know, Field of Dreams.
Never saw it.
Hey, Christina, Elmo Card Collector says he's getting rid of his truck to find a Honda Element.
They actually are really great cars. So I would highly recommend.
It's not orange, though. It's, like, burnt orange, right?
No, I'd just say that's orange. That's as orange as a Prism orange out of 49.
No, it's burnt. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's like a rust orange color.
Do you have...
If you ever saw that thing in the sunlight, you would say that thing's orange.
Nope, it's not. If I saw a Lamborghini that was, like, some of those Lamborghinis are orange, that's orange. Yours is more of a burnt orange.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a fall-themed car.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Yeah, do you think a pumpkin is, like, orange or more of a burnt orange?
Yeah, more of a burnt orange.
There you go.
Yeah. Fair.
What about the actual orange fruit?
Hey, the league has had my grandma. League says my grandma has had that car for years. The orange. Yeah, I would say that car is about the same color as the orange fruit.
All right. My first car was actually from my grandma.
Okay. Well done.
My first car was that orange Element that I bought and paid for myself.
That's your first car?
That was my first car. That's been my only car.
You've owned one car?
She's owned one car, and that car has been totaled a few times.
It hasn't been totaled. Shut up. Oh my God.
Are you implying that females are bad drivers?
No, I was hit head on by a drug addict who passed out in their car, and that car
My
saved my life.
Whenever I'm driving in the car with my
I
wife,
say you totaled it.
whenever I'm driving in the car with my wife and, like, someone cuts us off or, like, someone makes a bad decision, I'm like, watch, it's going to be a woman. And we drive by and it's, like, always a woman.
We do not endorse that point of view on Card Ladder.
Josh says that as a joke. It is
Yeah.
a joke between he and his wife. He does
joke.
not actually believe that.
It's just that, like, the statistics always prove out to be true, but it's also a joke.
I'm gonna get a ton of fucking DMs. Thanks, Josh.
She's like, do you associate with this guy on this show? Like, I need you to quit Card Ladder. This is horrible. The work environment is not good.
Oh, boy. All right. Good. That's great. I think that's our cue. Carvin is the GOAT. Yeah, I just
Are we not doing it next week? Are you guys going to be not doing the show?
no, we'll do the show next week. We're not doing Sports Cars Culture next week, but we'll do
Where will you be?
It's a great question.
we will probably be somewhere in between New York and Chicago.
If you're not in some random ass city, I'm going to be very disappointed. You guys are always like, we're in whatever Mississippi, and like,
Yeah, yep. No, we probably will be in some random ass city in Pennsylvania or something.
and most people are like, well, I took a plane, and so I'm at the city that I wanted to be in.
Not us.
Where's the fun in that?
Spurs Card wants
It's
to know
about the journey,
what
not the
do you-
destination.
Okay. Spurs Card 21 wants to know, what do you do during the crossover?
I work. These assholes are just.
How do you not know that? She reminds us of that every 20 minutes.
Yep.
Like, I'm working over here.
That's why I'm wondering too. Maybe he's trolling. Oh, he is trolling. I didn't see a little smiley after this comments. Okay. All right, guys.
Bleecker is going to get a very nice couple of guests joining their shop, so that's going to be exciting for all of you guys. I'm excited for you.
Looking forward to it. Josh, you're not coming though, huh?
No, they DM'd me today, and they're like, we need to get you out for a trade night over here, and so hopefully I can make that happen soon. It's a tough journey over there. It's pretty far.
Yeah, it is. That's a long flight from Arizona.
I could get there before you guys drive there, though.
It would take us about 14 hours to drive there if we were going straight to New York, but we're not. We're going to Connecticut first. It would be close because if you left your doorstep at the same time we left ours,
I would beat you there. Nope.
But it would be close because you have.
No, it would not.
How far is the airport from your house?
Oh my God. It would be close in the sense that I would beat you there by 6 hours. Sure.
It would take you about, how long is the flight? That's about a 5-hour flight, isn't it?
Yeah, I get to the airport an hour before the plane takes off, so I leave about 30 minutes. Let's say like
hour? It takes you longer than an hour.
I'm a 2-hour girl.
2 hours.
I'm not. I leave my.
We're safe people. We play that safe. Matter of fact, 3 hours.
TSA recommends 2 hours.
2 hours.
Through security.
Yeah, see, we can't be taking shortcuts here. 2 hours.
Okay, so when I went from Dallas to Atlanta, I was chilling in my hotel room for a good 7 hours before you guys showed up.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I watched like 3 basketball games. I had dinner.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, all right?
I got to see the Patriots jet in
Here, all
Mississippi.
right, so we'll take it out of Josh's hypothetical and put it in ours. The nearest airport to where we live is an hour and a half, and we like to get to the airport 2.5 hours in advance. So
oh my God.
You're talking 4 hours right there. The flight itself is like 3, so that's 7. And then you have to get your luggage. That's another 30 minutes to an hour. That's 8. Then you have to go get your rental car.
You freaking check a bag, you noobs.
We do check bags. Okay.
Yeah, because have you seen how many clothes he packs when we go away, Josh? Like,
I need 10 basketball shorts, 3 hoodies. Okay.
He's already wearing the hoodie.
He needs another one.
Like I'm telling you, by the time we would arrive at our destination, for us, it's a negligible difference.
I think what's happening is here, I'm never traveling with you guys. You're very different travelers. You're very like.
Yeah, traveling.
I'm trying to think of the word. I don't want to be mean. The word is slow. You're very slow travelers, and I'm very quick. Is that
the nice or the mean word?
I'm not sure. I travel with my backpack only. I get on the flight. I just like look ahead. I get off the flight and I like run to the place where I get the Uber, and I don't check a bag, and I'm in and out.
Dude, that sounds unpleasant to me. That sounds stressful. I like to go slow. I like slow. Slow is a good word to me. I like moving slow.
You're making me stress.
The
We want to
thought
make
of
it.
running through an airport, like,
I know,
literally gives me anxiety.
I don't know. I think the mainstream.
Hours?
Not
What are
good.
you doing for 2.5 hours?
Just making sure you get checked in.
You get Starbucks.
What if you get pulled
sit
off?
down,
You know.
Like you
What if you
your
get
coffee.
what if you have to go through the special line?
I am always the person who gets her bag checked. There's something about me that they get sketched out.
No one is surprised.
Yeah, the security line stops you for an hour.
Yeah.
Or
I've
look at the
actually
card.
stopped for half an hour before.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, we align on cards, but not traveling. That's for sure.
Different travel styles. Christina's like actually probably like halfway in between the both of us, because you would just fly everywhere and you'd go faster if it wasn't for me. Yeah. Yep.
So we found the bottleneck.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Halfway, because she would fly, but she would be more methodical about the flying.
Yeah.
Yep. Do you sleep on flights?
I can't.
She does.
I wish.
She sleeps on flights.
I pass out before the door even closes, and I wake up
Oh my
right
God.
when we're losing altitude. I sleep the entire time.
You know how people are like, what's one skill you want to learn? Like, you just would love, that's mine. I would love to be able to sleep on a plane.
Yeah. I can fall asleep for like 20 minutes, and then a noise will awaken me.
I can't
Or
sleep.
I'll realize my mouth is like gaping open, and people are looking at me like something will set in.
Well, when I sleep in a
mask, so you wouldn't have to worry about it, right? Isn't
True.
that?
When I sleep in a bed, I like 100% of the time, I'm laying flat on the bed. So when I sit up in a plane, I can't.
So you need to practice sleeping while sitting up.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Practice, because it's like you fall asleep and it's like, where do I put my head? Where does it go?
The headrest comes in. You can.
I need one of those neck pillows.
But the headrest, the headrest tilts in, so you can lean your head against it, right?
Well, yeah, but it's still like not. It's not far enough.
The trick is always get an exit row and sit by the window.
It's that easy, huh?
It's that easy.
You could lean your head against the window.
Yep. You put your hood on. Like, you wear a hoodie, you put your hood on, lean against the window, stretch your legs out in the exit row, like, because you have more room in the exit row, and then you just let those engines lull you to sleep.
Maybe I need to start with my newfound money. I need to start flying like private jets to go to card shows. You've seen that.
We already did all the research on that, so we know how much that costs. And that was
Not even that expensive.
No, it's not. No.
Neck pillows make airplanes 7% less. That's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
That's a lot. I would buy a neck pillow for 7% gains.
Yeah, 7% year over year. Now we're talking.
That's like a really shitty sports card. That's like God, no, I'm not going to pick a player. That's offensive. Whoever collects that player is going to be like, you just said that my player collector is average?
Hey, people should just be comfortable with average. Whatever is wrong with being average?
A player popped in my head, but I don't want to say it.
Say it.
Reggie Miller.
Dude, I think Reggie Miller
7%.
would be fine with that.
Doesn't he seem like a guy that would just have 7% gains like forever?
I need to think about it. I guess so.
It's like he's not super sexy of a player. Just put your head down and get your 7% gains.
Let's see. I want to take a look at the Reggie Miller index now.
Okay, so I would drive to Vegas. That's my limit. I drive to California and Vegas.
How long are those drives?
Vegas is 5 hours from me.
Yeah, that's a healthy drive for most people.
5 hours is my California, Southern California is about 5.5 hours. That's about my limit.
Yeah.
Northern California, fly.
Yeah. Because Northern California, you're talking 12-ish hours now, right?
It's a flight for me. I fly that one.
Okay, so Reggie Miller, from February of 2004 till now, has gone up 4x.
From when to when?
February of 2004 to now.
That's about 7%.
Maybe compounding, it might be. I have no idea. I don't even have a slight inkling if that makes sense or not.
Let's meet up next time in Encinitas. Done. I had a couple people after I got home were like, yo, I could have met up with you in Encinitas. I was like,
all right, I'm looking this up.
what are we looking at?
A 20-year, or wait, how long ago was that? Was 2004? That would have been about
17 years ago.
Rate of return, 7%. Compounding annually. Initial deposit, $1,000. Just to make it even. Oh! How about this? $1,000 over 17 years at 7% annual return compounding. Future balance, $3,159.
What was the Reggie Miller for?
Reggie Miller is $3,912.
Told you.
Pretty freaking close. That's really close considering. You called out Reggie Miller as a 7%, and it basically is.
I thought of that really hard because it's like, he's got to be good, but like not too good and not really like, can't be like, Allen Iverson, or he can't be like a flashy, he's got to be just solid. Yeah, I know my finances, bro. My numbers. Don't question me.
Literally nailed it. So look, Reggie Miller, guys, you can't even take offense to that. It's literally true.
You're literally like S&P 500ing this shit.
Reggie Miller is the S&P 500 of.
Didn't I tell you what? I told you on that other show we were on. Russell Westbrook is the S&P 500 of the hobby. Like, you're not exactly like thrilled about it, but like, how can you complain?
All right. As Josh reaches for another truly, I'm going to conclude this stream.
You don't even know that's true. Come on.
Good show.
It could be like a basket, like a thing of kale or something for all you know.
No, I actually know. Just like you knew that was 7% was going to come out to that, I know this. Also, New York. If anybody is coming to New York, see you guys on Thursday, October 21st at Bleecker. Otherwise,
that was a lucky guess.
See you guys on the crossover Friday next week.
Card Ladder, the best sports card app on the market. The future of sports cards is here. Card Ladder is the 21st century price guide and market analysis tool for sports cards. The best tools to help you track your cards. Watch the trends, stay informed, compare cards, and track the growth of your personal collection, all in one simple and intuitive platform. Join the innovators, not the imitators. The future is here. The future is now. Card Ladder.